Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Spawncast, episode 293. We're missing a bunch of people, mostly, well, let's see, we'll go down the list here. Jordan, one of his videos blew up. He went Hollywood on us now, so he's gone. He actually was doing some traveling this week, and Miss Click will probably be popping in here soon. Sean just had, Sean wasn't in a good mood. He was fighting all over the place, Game Freak and stuff hit. He was doing it. There was an auction he lost. It was a long 24 hours for this guy. So he's sitting it out tonight.
Poke fanatics coming after him.
Yeah, there was a lot happening in his life in the last 24 hours. So he'll be back with us next week. But let's go around here because we'll start here. We'll start with MVG.
Hello. Great to be here.
Good to have MVG here, a Switch developer who maybe can help us get to the bottom of some things over here. All right.
Well, I got some takes. Got some takes on that.
Oh, we're also missing Max. He was actually doing some friends Thanksgiving stuff this weekend as well in preparation for the upcoming week. We have OJ, Player Essence. How you doing, OJ?
What's up? Good to be here.
Good to have OJ here. We got Nate the Hate.
Yes, I am here, and you may potentially hear my phone go off because one of my friends is currently in labor, so I'm waiting for the news that the baby has arrived.
Oh, okay, that's exciting. All right. Do they know if it's a boy or girl yet, or are they just gonna be surprised?
It's a girl.
Okay, good.
Nate, you say one of your friends is in labor?
Yes.
Are you the dad?
I am not the father.
Oh,
thanks, Mari.
Then we
You're
have
not the dad, Nate.
I'm pretty sure.
Then we have Evan.
Yep.
Evan is here. All right, great. So we had quite the interesting week.
And Nate, be careful with that, Nate. I'm just saying, you might sometimes they spring one on you out of nowhere. I'm just telling you.
That's true. We
I
have
was one of those back in 2013, bro. I'm just letting you know.
We had all the Pokemon stuff go down this week. It was kind of mayhem there for a while, but they are now out. A lot of opinions about these games. A couple of us got a chance to play them, and we'll kind of separate the game from the developer with the situation at Game Freak and all of that. So we'll go back and forth with that. Should be fun. We had all of the Game Award nominations hit. I think we'll pick some of the categories because I'll be honest, some of them I don't think we're going to be able to really have much of any opinion on. There's like some esports stuff in there that I know most of us aren't familiar with, but we'll go through a vast majority of them, some of the larger ones, and talk about them. And then we did have, which was breaking news, and we'll go over that too because there's a little confusion with it. Ninja Gaiden and Dead or Alive apparently getting a reboot, or there's plans for reboots of them now that have been at least revealed by Team Ninja, allegedly. So we'll touch on that as we finish out here. Actually, we might go to that first. Evan, you want to hit us with a Discord question?
We got a guy considering picking up an analog pocket with the dock so he can have a similar experience to the Switch, but instead with his Game Boy collection. Have you spent any time playing those games on your TV, and is it worth it?
Yeah,
yes, it is.
The dock is awesome. Yeah, it does a really good job scaling, and it gives you a nice image on your screen. And I mean, you use that and use a DualSense controller if you want, a Super Nintendo controller, 8-bit dough. It comes together very, very nicely there. So I think it is a clean experience. And now you see all the stuff happening with that in the homebrew scene. The analog pocket looking pretty good currently. So
yeah, I would say jump on it. They're very, very, very cool little handhelds, and the community is really pushing some really cool stuff with it. And the dock is great. It's also great for gameplay capturing and streaming if you want to go down that path as well. So I recommend it.
You have another one for us, Evan?
What's the most expensive peripheral you've bought for a game? I imagine it'd be like a steering wheel or a VR headset or something.
Yeah, does a VR headset count? Because PSVR 1 so far for me.
Yeah, I was going to say the headset, the VR headset's the easy one. If you have a Valve Index or even a Quest, I mean, think about it, the Quest 2 is $350 to $400 right now, and that you could buy that for Resident Evil 4, and it's an awesome experience.
I'm going to go with something that probably nobody else on this panel bought, and it was Steel Battalion on the original Xbox.
We had two of those in our old. We had two of those in our old store. It was awesome.
Came with that huge tank controller with the two like analog stick
like
things
what
on the
it's
side,
like
and you had all the
four.
buttons.
It's like 4 pedals, and then it's 3 sections of controller. Yeah.
Yep.
You still have that?
Strictly because like the controls. Like this game's gonna be awesome. Game wasn't that good.
Do you still have it though?
No, I got rid of that years ago.
I want that controller.
That is a
Controller
good controller.
is crazy. But then they made the Kinect version where you just did motions to mimic the controls, and it wasn't that. It was really bad.
I mean, can I count the N64 DD? I bought that for Mario Paint.
You can.
That's a
You can.
peripheral, yeah.
There you go. That one. that's kind of a pricey one. So we'll go with that. That'll work. You have another Discord question, Evan?
What's your favorite licensed music usage in a game?
Oh gosh, favorite license music?
Like any Tony
Ooh.
Hawk's, Jet Set Radios type stuff?
I mean,
you got something good?
The original Tony Hawk was good. Although I will give credit to Sonic Frontiers. They have some shockingly good licensed music for that game that just kind of, it's out of place, but it sort of also makes, it's very weird.
There's only one correct answer here.
Prince of
and
Persia 2, Sands of Time.
Nope,
with,
I know what he,
it's Vice City.
okay.
Oh.
Yeah.
I thought you were gonna say Death Stranding.
I mean, Death Stranding is good, but
Yeah,
come on.
But I mean, Vice City.
Vice City, come on.
Yeah, that was pretty good. That was pretty good. That was still when we were. I mean, we had like high quality audio with the PlayStation, but like I don't know, some with the PS2 with the DVDs and like we had the visuals go along with it. Those did hit pretty well. Yeah. Okay. Let's actually, we are going to start with. Well, first of all, we do have a sponsor tonight. Shout out to Manscaped sponsoring the podcast tonight. We'll talk a little bit more about them later on in the show, but we'll start with this Ninja Gaiden business because this was weird. We were talking breaking. It happened 2 hours ago. 2 hours ago, it started circulating, and this was from Team Ninja. They had a presentation, and it seems like it's being read as. I think, Nate, you kind of explained this a little bit. It's a keynote presentation at the Korea G-Star Conference, which is a gaming-focused trade show. And Team Ninja just said, apparently, we're going to be rebooting some of our old stuff. And on that slide, they have a picture of Ninja Gaiden, and they have a picture of Dead or Alive, which I feel like we're all just putting two and two together and saying, okay, a Ninja Gaiden reboot is a thing. Is that the train of thought, Nate? Is that what we're kind of looking at right now?
Based on the articles and the tweets of the deck slide I've seen, I would say that is the conclusion one would come to. And the idea of them rebooting these franchises really isn't all that surprising, considering the last Ninja Gaiden we had was Ninja Gaiden Yaba back in 2014. And if you want to go mainline, it would be Ninja Gaiden 3 Razor's Edge, which was a Wii U launch game, eventually came to PS3 and Xbox 360 about a year later. So it's been a decade since the last mainline Ninja Gaiden game. And obviously we're not going to get a Ninja Gaiden 4. So a reboot is the natural order of things here. And, knowing that the original team from that trilogy is no longer at Team Ninja, it's time to try some new ideas and see if you can go with a new direction for the franchise. Dead or Alive, I'm a little surprised by because they have had great success.
They monetized that thing left and right. Yeah. That thing was pretty bad there for a little while with what they were doing.
But it eventually came into its own, kind of similar to what you saw at Street Fighter V, that it just took a lot of time to get to a place where the audience was able to adapt to it and really embrace it. And I believe Dead or Alive is free to play on most platforms now. So I could see where they're also looking to reboot that with a more cohesive vision, similar to what we're seeing with Street Fighter VI. So, overall, I'm not really shocked for them to say we're rebooting these and revisiting these franchises. These are two of the most iconic franchises within their stable of software.
The Ninja Gaiden collection came out last year, right?
Yeah, it did.
That must have sold well. Do you think that's a true statement that it did sell well and they were like, oh, okay, let's reboot the franchise?
I would imagine it probably got a warm enough reception that they were looking to it saying, okay, there's definitely still interest in Ninja Gaiden. So if we're going to reboot it, now is the time to strike while that iron is hot. And we've seen companies do this time and time again. Recently, we had Capcom do Onimusha HD as a barometer to see if they should do a new installment to the Onimusha series. And there has been rumor that a new Onimusha game is in development. So, we see this all the time from publishers and developers just to see if fan interest is still there for what I'd call aging franchises. But Ninja Gaiden, Hayabusa, it's one of the most iconic characters in gaming dating back to the NES.
This is another part of it, but it's not part of that presentation. Appears to be a rumor now that's kicked up immediately after this was shown in that slideshow, is that this, according to Nick over on Twitter, I believe from Xbox Era, who says that the studio signed on to do this reboot. Apparently, Platinum Games. And
Ninja Gaiden reboot?
Yeah, to do the Ninja Gaiden reboot.
That would work.
I feel like that would, yeah, I feel like that fits together very nicely. A little too nicely. Almost like it's like that's okay. That'd be interesting if it happened, but that is definitely a rumor territory right now for that one. I'm a little confused. Would Team Ninja wouldn't just make it?
Yeah, or wouldn't? Yeah, I mean, wouldn't Team Ninja just like do the development of this game? I would think so.
They would go to Koei Tecmo or something, right?
Yeah.
If they want to publish it and go that route, and
Well, yeah, I mean, Team Ninja is part of Koei Tecmo,
yeah.
so
That's why it's a little weird. They're like, "Hey, we're gonna get Platinum Games to do this."
Maybe it's a co-develop. Maybe it's a situation.
Oh,
like,
maybe.
like Fire Emblem, how that game's developed.
yeah, Fire Emblem or like Star Fox, where
Could be.
Nintendo designed the core and then Platinum just built out the world and everything.
See that? I could see that happening. Then, especially if because Team Ninja is working on other stuff currently. Maybe, especially if they're looking to reboot it, maybe they would want to get someone else involved just for a different style or direction of the game, so it feels at least somewhat different from the other ones that were used. That thing is, with Ninja Gaiden 3 Razor's Edge, it lost me a little bit with that one. I think
You see, that was one of the problems where that was them continuing the story set for the previous two games, where they then lost the director. Someone had to come in and fill that role. But we've seen Team Ninja try their hand at this genre with other games, like, was it Neo? They have the upcoming game. Was it Woe Fallen Long?
Oh, long.
Mm-hmm.
Good game. Well, at least
So-
what we played in the beta.
So we've seen them still stick to this kind of genre type, but they've evolved what they want to do. I could see Platinum fitting in with that original vision of what Ninja Gaiden 1 and 2 were. But I would also, if you're going to reboot it, try for a new direction of what we're seeing them do with these other franchises under the belt and make that the Ninja Gaiden game. It's not as though they have to keep to that original vision that we had from the original Xbox all the way up to Wii U. Now is the time to experiment and introduce a brand new style to Ninja Gaiden.
Yeah, I think this would be cool, as long as it actually works out. We'll see. But I mean, at least they're mentioning it again, because I kind of thought Ninja Gaiden would just be on the shelf almost forever at this point. It's been a while.
Do you think they'll bring Itagaki back as the director, Nate?
Oh
No, that was, I mean, that was,
Even though he's like a creep or something? Isn't he?
yeah, he was fired for what was like sexual assault, sexual harassment, creeping on female employees, being vulgar. I don't think they're looking to bring him on anytime soon.
Well, there you go. They got Platinum
That's fair.
Games. Apparently, they can do that.
Plus, he has Devil's Third under his belt.
Oh, that's his legacy. I forgot about that.
Most valuable Wii U games. He made that without realizing it. There you go. I look forward to hearing more about this. It sounds like it's going to be a long time, though, if they're just now saying, hey, we're looking to reboot stuff as part of a PowerPoint presentation. But we'll see. We'll see. It could be fun. But let's move on to, okay, actually we'll do this first. Nate, you've been playing Pentiment.
I have been playing Pentiment. The only person here who's been playing Pentiment, Josh Sawyer's new masterpiece on Xbox. And
I want to
PC.
give Pentiment a little credit because I think it scored higher than basically everyone was expecting.
Only those who weren't paying attention.
Okay, thanks, Nate. Go ahead.
And I understand, and a lot of people are looking at the art style. The art style just isn't appealing to them, and that's a fair criticism. But the art style was a deliberate choice. They are trying to replicate medieval art as closely as they can, and they did a fantastic job of doing so. And the fact that this game was developed by 14 people at Obsidian is nothing short of astonishing. The dialogue, the writing, the characters, the music are all sublime. There's humor, there's mystery, there's tension. For a game where your decisions actually have implications and how everything is going to play out is just really refreshing. If you're a fan of Disco Elysium or A Night in the Woods, this is a game that is made for you. And I know I got a lot of the headlines because people are saying, oh, look, you said I only made this game because of Game Pass. That is just showing that Game Pass is allowing for experimental games to be developed. the industry is better for having a game like this come into existence than rely strictly on just the movie style AAA games where people say, oh, look, everything feels the same. It's getting boring. This is a nice standout project. I'm loving what I have played so far. I can't wait to dive back into the game later tonight. If you like just, narrative driven point and click style games and you have PC or you have an Xbox, give the game a look. It's fantastic. It starts a little slow. The first hour or so is slowly paced, but once you get beyond that hump, the game picks up its pacing and the story begins to develop. You really get to interact with the characters and it'll click. And the second it clicks, you're going to be engaged and you're going to become addicted to what is happening and you're going to want to see the story unfold.
Okay. We'll check in with you, Nate, on that. Let's see.
Our correspondent in the field. Yes.
Nate, we must have played different games because I started Pentiment.
Oh, MVP started.
I thought it was pretty bad.
How long did you play MVP?
I played for about 15 minutes and I was like, no, this isn't for me. And I deleted it.
Beatrice, you talked to Socrates.
Dude, there was so much verbosity in that game. There's speech bubbles everywhere going off like all over the place. And it's like, come on, what is happening? Nate,
I want you to realize that MVG spent almost 100 hours in Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
Hey, that's why he's so hesitant to invest himself in Pentiment. Assassin's Creed just...
Look, man, I tried it and I didn't like it. And that's that. I don't even think I could play it for an hour. You're saying it picks up after the first hour. I don't think I could do that, though.
Once you get to the point of the game where you start to pick the background of your character, like your education, where you went to university, what you majored in, and
your food
all
allergies,
these elements that come into play as you're playing the game, that's where it really begins.
Is there voice acting in the game?
There is not.
That doesn't bother you?
No, because the writing of the game, the dialogue is just really engaging. It's like reading a really good history book or a history novel.
Okay.
If you're not really into like religion, the first act is heavily focused on like theology, where everyone is saying, by the grace of God, and Martin Luther eventually comes up because Martin Luther is relevant to this time and his ideas are brand new and they're about to shake up the church. So that becomes a point of contention for the main character and the abbey he is staying in, and even some of the villagers. But the unique thing is how the dialogue is delivered. If your character views the individual that they are talking to, the way the script is written in the speech bubbles, it may be upside down, it may be messy if they're a peasant, and it's supposed to reflect their status within society, where if you're speaking to a noble, it's going to be more like perfected.
Oh, it's like fourth wall breaking for that.
Listen, man. This sounds awesome. This sounds like a great book. That I could sit down and read.
Sound awesome. That sounded boring as hell. That even just that right there was boring. Sounded boring. I mean, the game's probably good though.
Look, man. I can appreciate a good book with a good story, right? But man, this is video games. We want to headshot people. We want to get good KDRs.
Run from an ocean of rats
and destroying
cities.
A game who gets headshot, and it's your job to figure out who killed him.
It's like Mario's missing.
More like the Baron is missing, but yeah. I mean, I seduced a nun in a library.
Go on.
And then we got caught by Mother Superior the next morning. Quite the scandal.
A lot of drama going on over there.
There is actually a lot of drama in the game where you feel as though the decisions you're making are going to have those repercussions, and you have to think, because one of the first interactions I had was with this little shit name. I think his name is like Martin. And he didn't fix the sheep pen correctly. So all the sheep got out in the village, and his aunt and his mother are scolding him, and my character came across him, and I had a bunch of dialogue choices. And I said, Martin, why don't you help out and get the sheep? And his response to me was, eat shit. And then later on, I'm getting ready to leave, and I'm like, Martin, you have to do better. Make sure you help your aunt and mother round up all the sheep. And once again, he said, shut up, asshole. And then I saw him. He was running away from a scene. I was like, Martin, what are you doing? And he basically told me to fuck off and ran away. But because we had a negative interaction, that's what dictated how that situation turned out. Had I been nice to him, he may have potentially stopped and interacted with me. So that's where replayability comes in, to see how your choices would influence different outcomes.
Riveting.
Sounds like the game Fable should have been
Okay.
originally.
Yes.
Thanks, Nate. We'll check back
great
in with you next week on that one. See how it goes. Are you gonna how long is a playthrough on this thing?
It's about 15 hours.
Oh my gosh, it's 15 hours.
Because most of it's speech bubbles.
I thought this would have been like a 3 or 4 hour thing. You just do it multiple times. It's 15 hours for one play. Wow. Huh. Okay. Well, we'll see how it goes for you.
Kill John's interest right there.
Well, hey Nate,
It's a
glad you're having fun with it.
It has a fantastic soundtrack.
I believe you. Okay. We'll check back.
You Bible stories in a really
It's got
unique
like that
way.
court gesture music. Like
At some points, yeah, there is a
Is
joke.
it all
there.
just chamber music and like?
Well, I mean, the good news is it's
Today
on
was a
Game
good,
Pass.
this is a good day, my lord. It's got like that music, huh? That type of
Yeah.
You can,
One of the brothers does chant, and when you're walking through the abbey at one point.
Is
And then, like, the
is
little
Bantu
kids,
Pay in the
because-
OST?
I mean, you're in Bavaria.
Nate, would you have? This game was $20. All right, is how much it was. Would you have bought this if it wasn't on Game Pass?
As an Xbox exclusive,
I mean, just how it is now, where it
Just in
is. It's
general.
on the Xbox. Would you have bought it if it was $20?
I would have read the reviews. I probably would have asked some people that I know if they had played the game, and if they had played the game, got some impressions, and if the impressions were positive along with the positive reviews, I probably would have given the $20 to experience it.
Okay, I mean, that's what it seemed like. It seemed like impressions were good, reviews were good.
Yeah,
Okay.
and everything I've played right now, I don't regret any time I've spent with it. I absolutely
Okay.
love what I'm playing.
Okay, good enough. Good enough. Well, glad you're enjoying it. Glad you're enjoying it.
I mean, I do wish it were on like a handheld system, because this is a great game. I could just see sitting
Can
in
you just-
bed, sitting on the couch, headphones in.
Can't you just stream it to your phone and play it?
I have a Galaxy S5.
Oh, my bad. I forgot about that. I didn't mean to, I'm
That-
sorry. I didn't mean to bring
that
that
get-
up. That's the
that
sore
ghetto
spot.
phone once again.
Isn't it up to like 22 now or something?
Yeah.
Do you have like you don't have like an iPad or just
I
some
have a
kind of
Kindle.
tab? Oh,
Would have been better if you just had a Galaxy phone with no number after it.
you should have just said no.
The
You just said
original.
nothing. I don't know about anything.
Or
It's just-
Galaxy
They have
One.
an iPad.
No, I got a Kindle from like I don't know when. I think it's a Kindle Fire.
The original.
the Kindle Fire.
Kindle in Fuego.
I pictured
That's what I
I pictured
need.
the Kindle with like the ink, like the yeah. Okay, that's fine.
Hey,
You are winning ghetto content creator of the year. I'm gonna tell you right now, you won the award. Okay, I'm just letting you know. I just got to write the jokes around it.
So you're missing. So you're missing out on the entire streaming experience for Xbox, and this is a game that would actually do well for that.
yeah, like I should probably say to Sean, you don't want that Logitech cloud device.
Yeah, dude, he was looking to just get rid of that thing.
Yeah,
Hmm.
but Pentiment, give it a look. Fantastic.
Okay.
game.
There we go. There you have it, Pentiment. Check it out. Let's go over to, we're gonna do Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. We'll start with, I kind of wanted to separate the game itself and then the whole situation with developers, Switch 2, Switch Pro 8, whatever else. Put it in the next to it in the second column, because the game and the talk about Game Freak and the Pokemon Company is kind of blurred together online at this point. So we'll start with Scarlet and Violet, and then we'll move into that. Okay. So I picked it up. OJ got it. He's playing it.
Been playing it like crazy.
Okay. And MVG didn't get it. Nate didn't get it. Evan didn't get it. Okay, so two of us. And in fact, I don't think Sean got it either. I don't know. I don't think Miss Quick got it. So Jordan would have been.
Yeah, I'm almost not even sure Jordan got it at this point.
No, Jordan
Jordan
got it.
said he got. He
Okay.
said he
Said he
got
got
it. But that would have been the only other person anyway. So Scarlet and Violet. All right, I picked up I had pre-ordered the double pack a while ago, and that came in. So I basically have both of them. But I started Violet up, and I did a whole video on my entire 2.5 hours, and I cut it down as much as I could. But it is a slow start. Like, it is an hour and a half before you get to the open world, and there is just a lot of, I'll say, extra dialogue bubbles that you don't need to get half the stuff done. Just to pick your starter, before you go into a room and you would just pick it off the table and that's it. Then you just go. That alone was like 5 or 6 extra minutes of just you wander down a road to get to a house, and then they're like, all right, now pick one. So the opening part, you do have to get through it. It takes time, but when you do, the world opens up and it does become much more interesting than what you had before. So this is an open world Pokemon game. They put a bunch of points on your map. They have 3 different storylines. There's one for Titan Pokemon, there's one for the gym badges, and there's one that's basically you fighting back and forth with the Team Rocket of this generation. I think it's the Team Star, and it's like Operation Starfall. They have hideouts. You go to the hideouts, you beat whoever's in charge there, I assume, and then you move on from there. I mostly just did a Titan and I did a gym badge so far as I'm kind of wandering around the world. And at this time, I found my way into a part of the world where the Pokemon are like level 35 or something for some reason, and I'm like level 23. So I'm vastly out leveled. I got to turn around and look around a bit more. But starting with the game itself, I like what Game Freak is attempting here. I like their shot at an open world take on Pokemon. OJ, how much you been playing of it?
Yeah, I think 7 hours plus, maybe.
Okay.
Maybe, I don't know. I'm not really counting. I'm just kind of wandering around. Yeah, I kind of echo. I did a big video on the channel about it. Shout out to everybody who watched. They said they liked it a lot, quite a bit. And yeah, I think that as you know, Pokemon used to be my favorite franchise, like ever. Not anymore. But I still do like the games. But before I get into some of the things that I don't like, I want to talk about some of the stuff that I do like. This is probably the most fun that I've had with the Pokemon game, a new generation of Pokemon, since like the DS days.
I'm having much more fun with this than I did with Sword and Shield.
Yeah, more fun than Sword and Shield, more fun than X and like Sun and Moon were cool. Like those were great. I know those were really cool, but I just wasn't as big into those. X and Y, I had fun with that. So probably since like Black and White, or maybe somewhere in that area, it's probably the most fun that I've had with the new generation Pokemon because of the new ideas. They take the stuff that I really like, which is one of my favorite games, is Pokemon Legends Arceus. They take some of those things and then they expand it. They actually make like a true open world that's not segmented. So that's cool. That's like a good thing. The battling is good. The the quality of life features are good for the most part. The multiplayer seems fine with that. The items, stuff that you can do, like getting around, with your legendary, that's all that stuff's really good. It's just a shame because if the tech side of it was put together well, this would easily be the best rated Pokemon game, probably.
I think so too.
Like the old school,
I think people were saying it are looking at this like, oh, it got a couple points knocked off for the. I think actually a lot got taken off of it.
It got a lot. Like I said, I think this would be because the tech side is terrible. Like the textures are not very good. The frame rate sometimes is laggy. Like there's all sorts of tech issues. I haven't ran into all the bugs that people are putting online. I mean, sometimes I don't really look at some of the stuff that people put online because people do all sorts of crazy stuff. But I ran into some glitches and all that. But I haven't ran into everything. But I'm pretty sure for some people it's there or not. But even without that, there's just it's not really something to where you can sit there and say, oh yeah, that's okay. Especially considering what is on the Switch itself. Like some of the other games, like what's on the Wii U, like Xenoblade Chronicles X, looking way better than this game. And even doing a lot of the same things. I'm not a developer like MVG, which I'm pretty sure, he's talked about. I watched his podcast, but some of the stuff in here is just, man, if they would have gotten it straight with some of the graphics, and also with the tech, that's not a couple points, like you said, John. I think this is it's like 10 points higher. Like it's like almost a 90 if everything else was put together well, because all the other stuff in the game is dope. Like I do like quite a bit of the other things, like the combat, all that stuff is really fun. And like the competitive side seems like it's going to be really good too. Like once people start really getting the metas and everything together. So yeah, that's good. But the graphics and the frame rate, and sometimes it just like freezes. Like I've had a couple, like I'm just running and it just like pauses, and then like
stops. Yeah, it stops for like an entire second sometimes. Or just like a frame happening. Okay, there we go.
Yeah, like I'm playing Smash Online sometimes or something like that. Like a frame spike or something. Yeah. So that's happened. So man, like as I said, it's a shame. Hopefully they can patch it to make it better. But I don't think patching it's not going to fix like the graphics, and it's not going to fix everything. Like no matter how many patches, there's still going to be issues. But yeah, I'm having fun with it though. I think it's definitely more interesting than a lot of the new gen Pokemon games.
So they give you the legendary or the cover Pokemon right in the beginning. I mean, it's in the first 30 minutes you get this Pokemon, and they essentially came up with a way to give you the Pokemon without giving you that Pokemon. It can't really fight. It can't do much because it's super weakened. So you use it as what I've Miraidon in Violet. It's a bike. I drive a bike around basically. And I noticed the bike doesn't seem very fast right now. I don't know, because as you defeat the Titans, you seem to get more movement options for your Pokemon. And I assume as I go through this game, I'm going to get more and more power-ups for it, and it'll become more agile, and I assume I'll be able to explore the world more that way, because eventually, like, I beat the one Titan, it's now also a boat. I can sail around with this thing, which I got a Magikarp. I'm going to set that around. I'll get a Gyarados soon. But like that kind of thing. Eventually you can fly with it. I believe it can climb mountains, and kind of reminds me a bit of Arceus to a degree, where you would get, movement options, all that stuff. So I like that. I like that aspect of it. The part that is interesting to me is they did take some stuff from Arceus, but then there's some stuff where they just kind of went back to traditional Pokemon here, where like the battles, for example, they do feel like they go a little longer than they need to, and capturing Pokemon is the one, because Arceus was nice because you just ran around throwing Pokeballs everywhere. You're just rapid firing Pokeballs. You're just taking everything out. And I guess the difference here is they're not expecting you to catch 25 of a single Pokemon in one run. So they're like, you don't need to be able to actually throw Pokeballs at things, and you got to go into the battle. And that part is feels older than Arceus, I guess is the way I'd put it. It feels like they took a step back with that. But I think looking at this, MVG, I think you would like these games. I do, because I know you're one of the other people that will play through the Far Cry games like I do, and you like that open world, and you like the markers all over the place and running to things and getting stronger, and that's what this game does. It has a bunch of stuff that you do in the game, and you actually feel like you are getting something out of each point. So we got to get you on one of them, MVG, and see what you think.
Probably not this one though, huh? Maybe the next one.
No, you got to get this one. You absolutely need to get this one, because we got to see if you can figure out how to fix the issues here with some overclocking or something.
Oh yeah, we just need the Switch Pro. It's easy.
I just need the Switch Pro. That's the part that's a shame, is that there are technical issues. I've run into some bugs where I go to throw a Pokeball, and it does the cutscene for it where I take the ball out, and sometimes my trainer is just invisible. And it's very weird. Like the ball will just kind of float around in the air and get thrown, but like my Miraidon character Pokemon's there, but there's nothing on top of it throwing the ball. I've seen that.
Some of the videos are cool. I watched the one where they were trying to capture one, and a bridge basically got built in the background while it was being captured. It was pretty good.
So there is that video of Psyduck getting captured in front of that bridge. I have footage of me capturing that same Psyduck. I did not run into that issue. It caught the Psyduck, no problem.
Yeah.
Probably loaded that stuff easy.
He said that was portable mode. That's what the person said originally, that it was portable. So people didn't catch that though, because he didn't say that originally. But there was also some things about there potentially having memory leak. Like if you're playing it for a while,
yes,
it can cause something like that. So I mean, that's probably not going to happen for most people, because people were even putting their own videos in that same area saying no, that didn't happen. But yeah, I guess it can, depending on various different situations or something. But I haven't had that. I mean, I've captured a ton of Pokemon. I've never had that type of lag on capturing a Pokemon.
Yeah, it's almost certainly a memory issue, and it's one of those things where it's going to happen at random. So it's never going to happen in the same place twice, right? So it depends on how you play the game. If you're playing it in handheld or dock mode. There's all sorts of factors,
I'm thinking because you do see this weird stutter that happens, MVG, when you're running in the field, where it'll stop for maybe a second, and like everything just freezes, and then it keeps going. I'm almost wondering if it just timed up just right to where they hit Psyduck with the Pokeball, and then that stutter happened just from memory or whatnot. Because that seems to be the issue. People have to close the game down and then reopen it after 2 or 3 hours to try to fix the frame rate. So there seems to be something pretty severely wrong with the back end of this game.
Yeah, and look, we talked about it on Nate the Hate, and if anyone wants to know more about the tech side, I would really suggest you take a listen to our show that we did, because we talked to a couple of developers, and the general consensus was that this is memory leaks, memory related issues that that happen in the game as a result of this. And the reason why you see these stutters and you see these hitches is simply because the game is basically flushing all its data and is bringing it back in. And that's probably because they didn't have enough time to come up with a proper memory management solution for the game that runs properly. And I think that they were under so much kind of crunch to get this game out for the holiday. Because look, let's be honest, there's no way they're ever going to delay this game. Like, even if Game Freak turned around and said, look, we need a few more months to polish this game up, you know that the message from above will be, no, it's not negotiable. You have to get this game out, right? So I think some of the things that you're talking about with regards to, stutters, even, these, the way that the characters move at like 15 frames per second and stuff, this kind of the stop motion look, all that stuff is kind of Hail Mary code that they threw in at the last minute just to make sure that the game doesn't crash, right? Like, the game doesn't crash as far as I know. I mean, it's got all sorts of issues, but it's stable enough where it plays. So I think they did just the absolute minimum just to kind of get this game out. And now it's really a matter of, well, we have to patch this game. And I think they're probably going to patch this game over the next couple of weeks. I would be very surprised. I know that they don't have the best track record in going back and patching issues, but I think this one is, I mean, everyone's talking about it. Reviewers are talking about it. People are talking about it. I'm looking at Twitter, and even, lifelong Pokemon fans are admitting that this game is rough, so everyone agrees that this game needs a patch. So I think they are most certainly aware of it, and they will fix it.
Some people in the chat said that they've seen people posting up crashes of the game. I'm going to keep playing it. I haven't had any crashes myself in the first, I'm going to say 5 hours of the game that I've played, but I will keep an eye on that. And if I have to, I will count how many times it crashed, because I did that with Cyberpunk, where I think the PS5 version of Cyberpunk crashed, I want to say 9 times for me in the playthrough.
There's been some comparisons between this and Cyberpunk, and I will say that Cyberpunk was way worse than this. People have to remember how bad Cyberpunk was. When that game came out, it was an absolute disaster. This is bad. I'm not saying it's not, but this is not anywhere at that caliber, in my opinion.
The problem with that is it definitely felt like they misrepresented the game. There were parts in this trailer where they showed it to us, and we were like, oh, that looks kind of rough. And we were just thinking, well, maybe day one they'll have it figured out. So they were technically showing us the game the whole time. Whereas Cyberpunk, they were like, here's the PC version, and maybe we'll tell you about the Xbox. Oh, wait, never mind. It's out now. Here you go. So that one was like, ooh, that's, I don't know, that felt like they were trying to mislead on purpose. I did notice, though, in Pokemon, when you get to the academy, because they've done this thing where they're trying to kind of lean into the you're going to school setup. I don't know, similar to what we had with like Persona or any of these other kind of games, RPGs, where they mix in a social life in school with it. When I got to the town, I realized that they didn't really do any interiors for most buildings at all. Like, when you go to there you have like the mart you can go to restaurants. You go to the door and it just kicks you up to a menu.
Yeah. So they ran out of time. I mean, that is the look, when I look at this game, I know what rushing and crunching feels like. And this is, look, they crunched really hard to get this game out. And you can tell that they just, in the last couple of months of the development, they just had to basically, like I said, throw Hail Marys to get this game over the finish line. And adding just menu systems when you walk inside rooms and stuff, that's a dead giveaway that this is just, crunched.
You also teleport around the school itself. So they basically give you a menu when you leave the classroom, and they're like, you can go here, here, and here, and you pick it and it just teleports you to the room. So like, you don't have a big school necessarily to walk around in all at once. So these are all things I noticed as I was going through, where I'm thinking, okay, that's probably where they had to cut some time and corners, and they're like, let's do the menu. Technically, when you go to a market or something in a game, it's just a menu anyway, but there is that touch of personality or just immersion if you go into the mart and there's like, I don't know, magazines that they've made up on the shelf. It's not necessary, but it does add to the effect of the overall world they've tried to build here, which is, I mean, it's a big world too. I started zooming out. I was like, wow, there's actually a lot going on here. The thing I've noticed as well as I've gone through is I've accumulated a very diverse lineup of Pokemon that I don't remember doing in other Pokemon games. So the third Pokemon I caught was a Diglett. That's never happened to me. So I feel like I have.
You don't got a Wiglet?
No, I just have a Diglett. He's cool though. He's cool.
Got a Wiglet.
I feel like I just have a lot of different Pokemon, and I'm always finding, like, I'm not running across the same Pokemon constantly. So I like what they've done with the overworld. They have it so that the Pokemon are just wandering around. You don't run into random battles or anything like that. The only issue I have, though, is some of the little Pokemon you can't really see. So you just run them over with your bike half the time and it just throws you into a battle. But I like the world they've built here. It got way too ambitious, I think, for them in the time that they had allotted. The towns, you go up to the town, there's no transition or anything. You just walk into the town, you walk back out to the open world. It's all there. So I really wish the technical issues weren't what they are right now, because I think the conversation around this game would be way different. And it's very, very unfortunate right now. Nate, we were hearing from MVG. What do you think about this from the outside looking in?
I mean, it just views as a technical mess.
Did you play Sword and Shield?
Yes.
Oh, that's right. You hated Hop. You would like this game, Nate. Well, minus the technical issue. You would like this game because you hated Hop so much. Hop's not in this game.
I mean, that's already an improvement.
There you go.
Yeah, the new chick, she's cool.
I think you would like this game,
doesn't
Nate.
appear every 5 seconds and challenge you or
they do this thing. It's really funny. They do this thing where they're both trying to tell you what to do, and then they just break away. They're like, "No, you do whatever you want. You don't listen to these people." Then they just walk away and just go out into by the way, the school's kind of weird because they're like, we're doing a treasure hunt. Go away. That's what it is. Just go have an adventure. I hope they're not paying. This looks like a private school to me. I don't know if I'd be paying that kind of tuition for them to just send you out and go make your own adventure. Thanks.
You definitely pay for that school. Somebody's paying. Either the taxpayers are paying for it or you're paying for it.
That does not look like tuition well spent when they just tell you to go away and go make your own adventure. Make sure the check's in the mail. Like, that's it. It's like that seems like. I mean, you walk out, by the way, dude. Your house in the beginning, that was a big house.
Bigger than usual.
Bigger
house than usual.
This is a yeah, dude. I'm telling you,
and Mama's definitely going to the beauty salon too. Mama's looking fantastic.
They got the big island in the middle of the kitchen. They got counter space for days in there. I don't know. This looks vaulted ceilings.
Probably drink Propel water.
They might.
Where is Dad though? Why do they disrespect dads like this? Act like dads don't like. Where are they at?
When you get a pack of cigarettes.
Yeah. They always act like that dad's absent. Like I don't understand this.
I think you would like this game though, Nate, but the technical issues, I actually believe this is a game that some people might put down and wait for a patch because of some people said in my comments of the video that it was actually affecting them, like in terms of the frame rate, causing what I don't say nausea, but like, whoa, okay, hold on, like, yeah, the stuttering, the frame timing's not great, so it has that effect of like where it sort of messes with like your inner inertia, I guess. I'm not sure, but I do know that is a thing for certain games that have bad frame pacing. And I'll tell you now, whatever Digital Foundry comes out with their video on this, it's gonna be bad.
It's gonna be brutal. And
yeah,
like I know a lot of people have played the game. I know a handful of individuals who have already, completed the game. And I've talked to them about their impressions, and they all walked away with the consensus of the game's narrative, the core gameplay. They all say it's spectacular. The major drawback comes down to the technical issues, and it's been a bit mixed in their reception of what they have seen from the game. A couple of them said, aside from the frame rate issues, they had an otherwise bug-free experience. Mm-hmm. Others were saying they had encountered bugs time and time again to the point where they actually put down the game because it was becoming just too consistent and ruining the flow of fun. But given that the consensus is that the core game is a well-constructed game, definitely piques my interest. But this is one of those titles where I want it to be patched and, maybe wait for a sale. I'm not going to congratulate Nintendo and Game Freak and the Pokemon Company with a full $60 purchase of a game that frankly isn't finished yet. This needed a few more months in the oven to iron out these problems. So, maybe next year, next summer, if everything has been addressed and the game is in a well placed technologically, and maybe it's been discounted, down to like $40, $45.
Sure.
Maybe I'll consider giving it a look, unless we get, the inevitable third entry of, I don't know what color they would call this one, but
oh yeah, Scarlet, Violet. Would you go green or blue? I don't know. I don't know what color you'd go.
Green.
Scarlet, Violet,
I think
Fuchsia.
blue.
Fuchsia,
Yeah, you can do fuchsia.
Aqua, like a blue. I don't know. That's a good question. What they do? I am curious if they don't patch it, if we end up getting some sort of system 2 years from now, even that ends up running this well, and then Nate picks it up.
Maybe.
I mean, if they don't do that, which I mean they will, but let's say they don't do that, then people shouldn't pre-order the next game next time round. I
agree with that.
This is something that I feel like that they have to fix. This is too big for them to ignore, I think, and I think they'll do the right thing. And I would almost say that, like I said, next couple of weeks I would expect at least one patch to come out to address some of this stuff.
Well, let's continue the talk, especially with Game Freak and the Pokemon Company with Scarlet and Violet, after a word from the podcast sponsor tonight. That's Manscaped. That's right. You've probably heard about Manscaped over on Nate the Hate's channel. Heard he had a whole talking point about this one, multiple talking points actually, right, Nate?
That is correct.
All right. So Manscaped is they're making the rounds. They're supporting podcasts, so make sure you check them out. We got a link down below in the description with a code that'll actually save you 20% off. Remember, it's getting cold out. Okay, the holidays right around the corner. So now's a good time to break out the other gardening tools. All right, just because it's cold out, I mean, you put all the gardening tools away. All right, starting with Manscaped's Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, the Weed Whacker, and the Nose Hair Trimmer. Got to spend some time decorating the tree with Jingle Balls. Also taking care of your own using Manscaped's signature refined body wash and deodorant. Feel free to prune with confidence, knowing you'll avoid the wrong side of the nutcracker when using the Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer. Designed with a cutting-edge ceramic blade to reduce the risk of grooming accidents. Because let me tell you, okay, no one wants to take that awkward car ride to the hospital. All right. I
really wish Sean was here for this.
Well, hey, Sean called me a chest shaver when I posted a picture on the beach, right? He's right about that. What he didn't say is I make sure to use the high-quality products from Manscaped. And with a consistent schedule of halo, grooming, and a little bit of weightlifting, you too can take your own beach picture this summer, okay? Get 20% off and free shipping with the code Spawncast at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com. Use code Spawncast. Be thankful this holiday season for the best gift of all from Manscaped. Your balls will thank you. Shout out to Manscaped.
Balls.
Let's talk about let's talk about Game Freak here, and then we'll of course do some of the super chats and all that good stuff. Game Freak is they're under fire right now. I feel like we've kind of come to a consensus online for the most part, because initially there was a knee-jerk reaction where everyone was like, Switch 2. Remember, it trended. It was like 50,000 some odd tweets about this. It was all over the place. Switch 2 everywhere.
There was Switch 2, and then there was Switch Pro right underneath it. I mean, it was on like Donkey Kong the other day, man.
Yeah. Awesome. Now, I feel like we understand that it's in the middle somewhere, but it's definitely more on to the side of Game Freak just not putting out a well-optimized product. That's really what it comes down to. Now, it has technically been proven that, yes, better hardware would make this run better, because people are overclocking the Switch currently and they are getting better results. Some are achieving 30 frames even on this thing, right? I don't think the game looks better because you're not replacing textures or anything with that, but the game's running better. And I think most of us would probably be able to live with the visuals if the frame rate was even and it lined up with how it looks versus how we assume it would run at that with how it looks. So the Switch Pro, the Switch 2 talk, I feel like that's died down a bit. Now a lot of people are looking at Game Freak like, all right, what's going on here?
Yeah, and that's the correct narrative individuals should be taking. This isn't a hardware issue. It's, as MVG was talking earlier, this is a software issue. This is a coding issue. It is a memory issue, be it a memory leak or however the code is written. This has nothing to do with the Switch hardware. The Switch hardware is more than capable of handling a game that looks like Pokemon Scarlet and Violet without these problems or performance concessions.
Right. So it does. I'm trying to figure out. Here's what I'm down to now. Is it a talent issue? Is it a time issue? Or is it a management issue?
I think it's a time and a management issue. I mean, look, Game Freak gets a lot of crap, right? Because, on the Switch, the games don't look the best. But look, I think Pokemon looks fine. Aesthetically, there's a specific aesthetic about that game, and I think what they provide in like Arceus and this game and Sword and Shield and everything, I think it's fine. Yes, it's primitive looking. You could almost say it's low polygon. It doesn't really matter. It still fills that gap of being aesthetically the right kind of aesthetic for a Pokemon game. It's really more about the amount of time that they had to make this game. And look, I think they're under so much pressure to get these games out. And like, there's another one coming out next year, right? There's like Next Generation is coming out next year. So it's almost like that Assassin's Creed thing when Assassin's Creed games became yearly releases and they started getting really bad. Remember, like there was that period where they just kind of lost the plot because the games came out so buggy. And then they paused and they reset and they said, okay, we're going to hold. The next one's going to come out in 2 years. And then I think they released Odyssey, which I thought was a really good game. Unfortunately, Game Freak doesn't have that luxury. It seems like they don't have that luxury where they can ask for more time and get it right. And the Pokemon company certainly doesn't want to pause on things like merchandise and all the other things around the game, which sell so much money. I mean, aren't they the biggest company, like the biggest toy company in the world or something?
It's the biggest entertainment company in terms of revenue generated. I believe you'd have to add up things like, I think if you took Star Wars, Marvel, and Spider-Man, added them all up, they would still come up short of Pokemon, which is ridiculous. It grosses more in its life than Hello Kitty has ever done, which is ridiculous because people don't realize Hello Kitty is massive. Like, it's this massive thing. But it's Pokemon. Yeah, Pokemon is at the top. It's like 90 some odd $billion. Yeah. It's crazy.
They're in a tough situation. And look, it's easy. It's also easy to say, well, why don't they get some help, right? Let's bring in some other studios to help them out. Look, Game Freak's they're the only ones that have been doing this for like 20 something years, right? Like they're the only ones that know this stuff. And I think, trying to get support studios to come in is definitely something they need to look at, but they're all the ones that have the experience in this stuff. And, they don't have that luxury of like Activision and Call of Duty where they rotate around studios every year. They've got Treyarch and Infinity Ward and even
then they have one lead and then everyone else helps anyway. So it's like 2,000-3,000 people end up making Call of Duty every year. It's crazy.
I'm not defending Game Freak in this situation. I do think that they at the end of the day, they're on the hook for this, but I also feel for them in that they're in this situation where, like I said, even if they wanted to push this game, they would just be told, you can't, we have to get this game out. And at the end of the day, it's all about making dollars. And I think, delaying a game for a year, a Pokemon game would not make the investors happy. And I think that's the bottom line. So
here's the interesting thing. Okay. This is why I think they could have delayed it. I think if this was any other game, by the way, it would have been delayed. This would not have come. Well, I'm sure maybe someone would have pushed it out, but I think if this was Zelda, it would look like this. Nintendo would delay it. They'd be like, nope, it's not coming out for a while.
You're right. There's no way that they would approve this game to come out.
I feel like they could have. I don't know, obviously the inner workings of them. The Pokemon company, it's a private company. They're not going to show up one day and be like, here's our books to the investors or any of this. And Game Freak's part of it. It's split up a third, and a third, right? Creatures, Game Freak, Nintendo. And it's just odd to me that they can't move a deadline after releasing. They would have released 3 Pokemon games with these that came out in a 12-month span, because they did Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl, they did Arceus, and then they did this. It's like 3 Pokemon releases in a year. If it seems odd that they couldn't have been like, we're going to do one in the holiday, then we'll have Arceus can launch the generation, sure, with it, it'll just be centered around that, and then we'll move to Scarlet and Violet next year because it needs more time. It's odd that they would sacrifice so much of their really the image of Pokemon now by pushing this thing out the door. The quality, I would say, image.
Yeah,
of it.
look, I mean that's a really good point. Like, but I think the way that I see this is if they delayed the game, let's say they delayed the game, then that would have a knock-on effect on next year's releases. You know, like, because then they'd have to really push to get those games ready. So, like I said, I feel like they're in a really tough spot,
right?
Where they're just grinding out these games, and the quality is starting to get worse and worse as we're starting to see. And yeah, look, the right move is to pause and you know, make sure that you've got everything where it needs to be. But unfortunately, that's not the case here, and here we are.
Here's my other issue with this. I think this development cycle worked well with like the Game Boy and the Game Boy Advance, and then the DS, and it's getting a little shaky with the 3DS. But now they've moved to console, and I don't think this development cycle works anymore for what they're trying to push out. It's not going to get easier necessarily when we go to the next Switch or whatever Nintendo has, because it's more powerful, we assume. I don't think they're sidestepping with this. It's going to be a more powerful system, and expectations go up from there. You think we're talking about comparing this thing to Xenoblade Chronicles 3 now? Dude, Monolith Soft on a next gen device is going to make some crazy looking thing. And then they're going to show up with, I mean, you look at Scarlet and Violet, it looks like they did kind of make a 3DS game and just like the textures and stuff. They're like, all right, now here we go. And they're like, oh, it's also got to work on the TV. Uh-oh. It's kind of what it felt like.
That's the problem with Game Freak in this situation, is that they had only been making handheld games prior to this. Now, this was a huge leap for them, for programming, for game design. And it's almost as though they are just stuck in those growing pains that every other developer had faced in the early 2000s. So they're about 15 years late to the party. And they're learning this as they go. And that's where I would want for them to get real substantial external assistance, similar to what we saw with Fire Emblem Three Houses. Game Freak can program what they program. They can come up with the world, the in-game systems, the mechanics. But you go for some help. And they do go for help. There's a lot of outsourcing done with the Pokemon games. You can see it in the credits.
Well, they used Ilka. Ilka made Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl. They didn't even make that.
But if you went to a studio like Monolith Soft's support studio, who assists on Breath of the Wild, Splatoon 3, and other titles within Nintendo, and you had them almost act as though what Platinum did with Star Fox Zero of, you're going to build the environments. You're going to build the settings where this game's going to take place. Here's our engine. Do what you can do with this. You have to follow, the deadline we have set. We are going to turn this game out in 3 years. You're going to, follow those same criteria as us. Let them do that bulk of the work. Game Freak's programmers simply do not have the visual chops to produce a game that is lush. This is now, the fourth Pokemon game on Switch? And we haven't seen a visual really increase that you typically see from the start of a generation to the end of the generation. This is still very flat. It's very bland. Yes, the character models have improved to some degree, but Creatures Inc., they're the ones who design all the Pokemon models. That's not Game Freak.
I actually don't have any issues with the Pokemon models either. I think they look, for the most part, fine, acceptable even. I think they're fine.
And that's the thing, is Game Freak can design a solid game. They're just not good when it comes to graphics, and they need that external assistance to really make the world graphics something that appeals to fans. And why they haven't pivoted to that direction yet is just very confusing. And that's why when MVG and I were talking about on my show, I just made the crazy pitch of maybe Pokemon should ditch 3D and go for a 2D HD style like Octopath Traveler. Go with HD pixel art.
I talked about that because somebody mentioned that I was listening. That would never happen.
I feel like that's not going to work for the kids, though.
Yeah, we love HD 2D, like all of us old guys, but you should see how younger people talk about HD 2D. They're not rushing out and buying Octopath like that. They're not rushing out and buying Live Alive. All us old guys like it. But even look at on our own podcast. Look at what Click and Jordan say about HD 2D games. and they're a little bit younger than us, right? They're 20s, and they even say, I don't know. No, I can't do HD2D.
What about like Link's Awakening that we saw on Switch, a top-down?
But hold on a minute. Hold on. No one else played Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, and that was like some weird chibi art style, and people gave that a.
Don't do chibi. You have to make it look good.
But that was a more simplistic art style to get it out there and done. And they said they wanted to be more true to the source material, I guess. But that's what I mean. That kind of an art style that's not the grand 3D attempt is frowned upon. And it shows in the sales technically too, but. Compared to other games.
I mean, Nate, like a let's just say they take like Heart Gold, Soul Silver, and do something like HD as like a side thing. Yeah, that would be fantastic. But a new gen, that would be a very, very bad idea in my opinion. For us, it'd be cool. But I think
I'd be fine with it.
I said,
for
younger kids,
like,
man.
Talking from my age, where I would love to see, like that Pokemon red, yellow, blue, and just beautiful HD pixel art. I'd be like, yes.
Oh yeah.
I'd probably buy it. It'd be my first Pokemon purchase. I'd buy it.
What?
I would love that. I hope they do something. I mean, they won't, but I hope they do something like that.
I think, you know what, MG, I think you should.
That type of thing. I mean, otherwise, are we going to do like a Smash Brothers where we have Bandai Namco come in and they design the game alongside Game Freak? Because Game Freak, they're never giving up these games.
They're not. They're part of the Pokemon company. They don't have to. They're like, we're here. We own part of this building.
Yeah, Game Freak will always be involved. So whenever you see people saying take it away from Game Freak, that's never happening. At most, we're going to have a co-developer join them.
I like Bandai Namco. That's not a bad idea. They even have experience with Pokemon. So
the only thing that I'm thinking is that we can get other people to like Monolith Soft or whatever to come in, but those companies are also used to building games and they get time. Like Xenoblade Chronicles 3 took how many years? Like when they rush things, like Xenoblade Chronicles 2 was a smaller team. I mean, and it looked great, but that was also slammed for graphics and performance at times too.
Yeah.
And so was Definitive Edition. They didn't have as much time to make that game. People slam that game as well for graphics, how it looks. They didn't do a good enough job. So it's like people want to selectively use Monolith Soft when, now they're great, but people were bashing some of their stuff that they did with Definitive Edition, and when it's a smaller budget, not as much time, people don't like exactly what they're doing. People do want
to load Monolith Soft out to everyone, though. I noticed that online. They want to. Who do we get? Monolith Soft. It's like,
but if you give Monolith Soft 4 or 5 years, they can make Xenoblade X. Xenoblade X took them the whole damn Wii U generation to make, or they can make Xenoblade 3 took them the whole Switch generation. Like if you give them a bunch of time, they can make something. But would they be good with the kind of
schedule or the kind of crunch that
where they have to when they're not used? I mean, they are kind of, but not really. Their results aren't as good when they don't have as much time. Now it's still better than Game Freak, right? But Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is not a 700 monsters where you're doing all different type of stuff. Like I get it, you outsource them, but I don't know exactly how it would work. But I mean, damn it, they got to try something, right? So I think the ideas are there, right?
It's not. I don't think it's not going to get any easier if we get new hardware in a couple of years or something, and the expectations go up.
Maybe we can just hope that Game Freak is willing to stop objecting themselves to this idea of they need an annual release, they cycle through their A team, their B team, their C team, and then they have their assistance from like mobile development teams, as we saw with Brilliant Diamond and Pearl. You don't have to do this type of turnout. You can slow down. Don't set yourself these deadlines, because Game Freak is in that conversation where they say, okay, we're planning the next generation of Pokemon. It's going to come out in 2025. That's what we're targeting. That's what we're going to be targeting for the Pokemon Company to get the cartoon show, the cards, the merchandise, everything. That's the year. So Game Freak is guilty where they put these deadlines on themselves. What
do they do with all this money, man?
Slowly
what does the Pokemon company do with all this money that they make? That they made like 1.6 billion in 2021. I mean, don't they reinvest it in themselves to expand?
They bought a card printing company, I think, recently.
What about
I don't know what else.
What about Game Freak and like getting more people that work? Isn't it only like a few hundred that work?
To be real, I mean, to be honest, Game Freak, what else they do? It's just Pokemon, right? They've tried different things. It didn't work out too well. Not to the scale of Pokemon.
They do what's his name? Tumbo, the badass elephant.
Tembo, the
They
badass
did that.
elephant.
They did Little Town Hero. I bought
Hey.
it. Maybe one other person bought it. I don't know.
I bought it.
He bought the collector's
Sealed.
edition.
I got the collector's seal, baby. From Asia.
I'm
Let's go.
sorry. I'm
Did
sorry.
it go up in
but
value yet?
I haven't checked.
if I'm Game Freak, I'm pushing this thing out the door. Someone else has to tell me not to, because think about how much money you're about to make just pushing it. They know it's gonna. We're gonna be back here next week. We're back here next week.
They're gonna have a new Pokemon game. They're gonna put it out there. They're gonna have more merchandise to sell with it, and that's why we're in this endless cycle.
Yeah, there's
and
nothing.
We're not seeing improvements made to the games, and
You got record pre-orders as well.
Yep,
you got record number of pre-orders. So why change the formula?
We're all sitting here expecting them to break records next week with Famitsu sales charts, and then an MPD, and then eventually the investors meeting with Nintendo. We're expecting all this stuff to happen, so it's not even gonna be shocking when next week they put up a 7-figure number in the Famitsu sales, and we're like, yeah, that's about right.
Japan sales are going to be astronomical. I believe early charting had it somewhere in the area of 1.5 to 2 times higher than Sword and Shield.
Yep. So that's not shocking. And if I'm, like I said, if I'm Game Freak, it is that situation of, well, they'll buy it anyway. I'll fix it later. They'll buy it. It's kind of a shame, because that's not where you want to be as a consumer in this relationship. But
that concerns me, because I feel like they haven't hit rock bottom yet. Like, I feel like this game is bad, but if they just kind of just ignore it,
I see what you mean.
Then things could get worse for them. We could end up with a Cyberpunk situation.
I'd like to think that this was enough for them to be like, oh, we could get to a Cyberpunk situation. We should probably figure this out now. But maybe you're right, MVG. Maybe they're like, wow, we put out a game that was kind of busted and we broke records.
Well,
we can do anything we want.
Hopefully that patch comes soon. That's the key thing. If we don't get that patch, then
I'd like to think that there is like a level of embarrassment somewhere in there, just to the state of it. But maybe it's hard when you're sleeping on a literal pile of money. I don't know.
I honestly, I'm surprised it passed certification in the state that it's in. I feel like it was kind of pushed over the line a little bit to get there, because if I submitted a game like that, Nintendo would have sent it back and said, no, fix it.
Yeah, that is interesting. Well, hey, Nintendo's got 30% at stake. Get this thing through certification. Don't worry. we'll make it happen. Hey, I tried to take Nintendo out of the situation a couple months ago when I said that Pokemon game, not really Nintendo. That's kind of Game Freak. I was quickly corrected. That's Nintendo's game. So there you go. I'm hoping there's a patch though. I am, and I hope Game Freak gets it figured out.
If the patch comes, to Nate's point, I may take a look at this game. If they do patch it,
I think you should take a look at it either way, MEG, just as kind of that thought experiment, playing it just to see, because it is an open world, and it is definitely an open world that was built in a small amount of time with a lot of pressure. So just for the developer side of you, it might be worth picking up just for that curiosity's sake. I'll put that recommendation out there for you.
You could also play Pentiment.
It's also not voice acted.
Yeah, that's the other thing. When does Pokemon get voice acted? When's that happen?
Never.
That's true. It's gonna break records. Why do they need to?
Pokemon Yellow had Pikachu actually sound like the show.
Wow,
that was progress at the time, and that was like mind blowing when we were little kids. Like,
that was actually pretty cool.
Pikachu on the main screen, he's running at us and surfing.
That was pretty cool actually when that happened. Yeah,
that was badass, and that's like now the only Pokemon who still talks.
That could be the revelation for the next release. Voice acting. That's it.
Just for the Pokemon?
They just have to make it gibberish.
No, for in the beginning,
they just take all the anime Pokemon.
There's so many speech bubbles in the beginning of the game, and they're doing these things where they have all these animations figured out, and they're trying to be over dramatic, but it's silent the entire time they're doing it. So it's.
I mean, they're already really bad at localization. You might as well just make all the characters speak in gibberish, and then just do the
banjo thing. Yeah.
Well, they just hop just comes out.
Yeah. That'd at least be funny. Be entertaining.
Or they can do, to not joke around just a little bit, they can do what Mario plus Rabbids does. They just voice a few lines, then not the whole thing. Like the Rabbids don't speak fully. They just say a few things, then stop. And then like Beepo or whatever his name is, that little thing, he'll talk fully like a narrator. but then like the characters don't necessarily say everything. Just even that would help just a bit, you know?
Yeah, it would. It would. There's a lot of stuff that would help, obviously, but
Oh man, now I got
We'll
this
see.
stupid Diglett song in my head because Gil Chong just wrote Diglett.
Here's
Diglett,
my thing though. I would have no problem if there was one Pokemon game per generation, like brand new one like this, and they just did add-on content throughout the generation of a system, and they maybe even introduced a generation of some kind through an add-on content piece like that. That would be perfully fine for me.
Krober Jam.
I think, rather than feel like they have to do these 2.5
Pokemon companies looking at like is looking and would just smack like old school, just smack the hell out of you. Like, do you know how much money we lose?
What are you taking money away from us for? What are you doing?
But they would keep selling the game.
One news wave a week. We only want one news wave a week, huh, buddy? Huh?
They would keep selling the game though. They'd keep selling it.
Why do you make so many news waves, huh? Why don't you just make one big one and we'll just watch that one?
Because the news keeps happening. It keeps going. It keeps going.
Pokemon Snap.
Also,
on
also, Newswave has voice acting. So there you go.
Does it?
It has a voice.
Do you say Diglett Dig, Trio?
You have
Trio.
What were you going to say about
attempts, close
Pokemon
crash.
Snap, Nate?
Pokemon Snap on N64. Didn't the Pokemon actually say their names and it wasn't gibberish? Or am I misremembering?
On
No
the
one
60.
remembers,
I'd have to go. I can't remember, to be honest.
Because I thought I remember because Clefairy, no, Jigglypuff sang.
Yeah, because this is
Pokemon Snap, it sang
Jigglypuff
its
over and over
song,
again. Yeah.
Right?
Jigglypuff sang in Smash Brothers also,
Yeah, but that doesn't
the
count.
original one on the 64.
Well, they still
I
use
remember
the
Diglett. I think I remember Diglett saying Diglett Dig in Pokemon.
That was
Snap.
from an anime, dude. You don't remember that episode where they were singing their song?
I
this
just
is a-
remember coughing, saying coffee every
Yeah.
5 seconds.
And there's wheezing. Yeah.
Yeah, and Arbok.
Those are the
Very
good
solid.
What
days.
are you guys
Charbot.
talking about?
The good days. Greatness, MVG. That's what we're talking about. Greatness.
All right, Robert Turner said I was right.
Let me,
Snap did have Pokemon dialogue.
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
Damn, we've regressed since 1999.
This is from Agent Redbeard Plays, becoming a member. Shout out to Agent Redbeard, saying, I played both Halo and Gears a bit here and there when they came out. Got a Series S and Game Pass. Which one would you suggest I play from the beginning? I'm going to say Halo. I'm sure other people will say Gears, but I'm a Halo guy, so I'd say Halo.
I like Gears.
There you go. See,
I like Gears. The Gears.
Okay. Tijo says there's a couple other things to look forward to when a game is nominated at the Game Awards: sales, especially if it's a Nintendo game, and the Game of the Year medley music by the orchestra. Oh, that's fun. The Game of the Year medley music. That was pretty good. I specifically remember the one with Persona and like Breath of the Wild and Mario on it. That was good. Zoob says hashtag Nibelian sweep. Please come back to us, Nibble.
Nibble knew, man. Nibble knew Twitter was about to implode before it happened. He left.
Yonder says shout out to Steven. Shout out Steven. Ruffle says stop arguing with fanboys. It always gets nasty. I assume that's for Sean. Derek says having a good time with Scarlet and Violet. The core gameplay is good. However, the visuals are hot garbage, and Game Freak needs to do better than this. Hoping a patch comes out to fix awful frame rate. That's where I'd start. Frame rate and apparently the memory leak. Foxy says whatever happened to Advance Wars? The physical version is no longer sold at Nintendo's website. I don't know. It's getting sketchy with Advance Wars right now. I'm getting a little worried.
There's a big mystery. Don't know what's happening with that game.
Doggy says Game Freak isn't blameless, but the Pokemon Company is the biggest culprit. Truly Epic says decided to expand my social media and finally made a Twitter. Hopefully it's a very kind and welcoming community.
I'm sorry.
Mighty Ryan says on the subject of Pokemon, how would you guys feel about Ilka handling the black and white remakes, assuming they've given enough time to polish them? I had no problem with Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl for what it was. I know it wasn't the greatest Pokemon remake or anything, but the frame rate was higher than 20. It was for what it was. I enjoyed it. Traditional Pokemon game, so I have no problem with Ilka coming in to do that. What are they doing right now? They're doing something. They're actually on a project.
Odyssey, pretty big RPG.
Yeah, they are. Okay, I was gonna say they came in for that. There was something else they came in for that was kind of weird. I'd have to see what it was. They were doing something recently that I saw pop up, and I was like, oh.
Okay, I think I know what you're talking about. I forgot what game it was, though. Yeah, I know what you're talking about, though.
It was a big game, too.
Yeah, it was like a substantial game that they were part of or helping to develop.
Yeah, I'd have to look back into that to see exactly what it was. Maybe somebody can mention it in the chat.
One Piece Odyssey.
Is that what I feel like there was something else they announced recently.
Yeah, I thought there was something else too, because One Piece Odyssey's done. That game's pretty much done. So
there was something else that got announced, and it's for a game coming up. It's not a game now, but it's one that's not coming out for a little while. But it was surprising, is what I'll say. I was not at all expecting them to be doing that. Because I think I talked about it in a news wave at one point. This is from Jonathan says, went to buy Pokemon. They were out of stock. Jokingly asked if they had any PS5s in the back, and they did. Glad Pokemon sold out. Now I got a PS5. There you go.
Nice
Everyone
job.
says, why don't we get a Conker's reboot or sequel? I don't know. We do need to get one of those. Hey, Click is here.
Hello.
Click
How
is
is
here.
everybody?
Good. How are you doing, Click?
Good. Did I miss anything exciting?
All the Pokemon talk.
Oh, yay.
Did you get Pokemon yet?
I'm not getting it.
Okay.
you didn't get a review code?
No, I told him no thanks.
Oh wow! Click standing.
Why
standing up,
Click? Is it
standing up
because
against Game Freak.
Is it because of the performance issues of the game we were just talking about?
No, I just from the get-go, I wasn't really striking me as something that I wanted to take time out of my program to stream. So I knew I was gonna be enjoying Bayonetta, and I really am excited for God of War, and I just didn't want to take time away from Pokemon, and I just didn't really like what I saw. I told Jordan that last week, and he's like, I'm not gonna make you love it. So I'm a little sad that it's actually not working out as well as everybody else was hoping.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with it. Good to have Click here, though. Good to have Click.
Hi.
You also missed my excellent Manscaped read.
Oh darn, man!
Yep.
I use them all the time.
You missed it. Xbox has no games says, what are the cast thoughts on the Parasite Eve bait and switch symbiogenesis? I hate Square Enix's business practices lately, but still excited for Crisis Core. Yeah, that was a shame. that one hurt, but it's Square. They give us Crisis Core, the reunion. They got to give us something like that. So,
hey, man, make room for Ironhander. Will be good.
Gosh. Ironhander with NFTs.
No, it's Ironhander. It's Ironhander.
Am I the only one who doesn't care about NFTs? I don't care if a company wants to waste their time with NFTs. It's gonna flop. Or
It's such a waste of time.
I'm not worried about it. As long as they keep on making bangers, this year, it's Dragon Quest Treasures, Crisis Core looks lit. Final Fantasy 16 looks incredible.
Click, you have to play Crisis Core. Click, you have to play that.
Oh yeah, well I watched through it, but I haven't actually got to play it. So yeah, I'm really excited.
Yeah, nice. All right, cool.
Mm-hmm.
Tijo says, what would happen if the Pokemon Company told Game Freak, you need to get the game out by this date at all costs, and Game Freak just said, no, we won't release in this date? MVG obviously working at the Pokemon Company can fill us in.
I mean, I don't think. Look, it's not negotiable. That's all there is to say here. I don't think they would ever say no, we're not going to do it, because that's just one of those things where if the message comes from above, then you just have to get it done, and I think that's what they did.
We're this close. It just worked. The game just functioned. It would actually be a really good conversation around it. It'd be fun. Jared says, any possibility that Pentiment comes to Switch? Nate, any possibility?
Our resident Pentiment expert, Nathaniel,
yeah, apparently.
What do you got for us?
I mean, it's not an impossibility. If Microsoft okays it, it could come to Switch, and it would be very welcome on that platform. So, you know what, Microsoft, Phil Spencer, if you're listening, allow Obsidian.
I heard he listens to the podcast, so now it's going to pop up on the Switch.
Good.
There you
You're
go.
welcome.
If you see a Switch on his shelf and the letter P next to it. Get ready.
There you go.
All of a sudden, when it comes to Switch, everyone on this panel is going to be playing it, saying, "Wow, this game is the best game I've ever played."
That's not. You must be talking about RGT.
Clip
this.
Sure.
We will
Sure,
revisit
that ain't
it
talking
in a
about me.
year.
Dude, you imagine that game on the Switch Lite. You couldn't even read the text bubbles in that
Listen,
thing.
old man.
That would be
Okay,
RGT.
Go get your
though.
bifocals out.
That's a classic RGT move. Oh, this game's ass. Next thing you know, it's on Switch. Oh, well, you know what? I gave it a shot, and damn, it was pretty. Thumbnail.
Hey, the second Sean starts seducing the nuns in the game, you'd be like, "All right, let's go."
Gosh, Consoloscopy says, what has been the best Black Friday sale y'all have taken advantage of this year? I got Persona 5 on Switch for $30.
So far, I got Horizon Forbidden West for $40, and I picked up Death Stranding for $10.
Hell
And
yeah.
That's not a good deal. I got a better one. So here,
That's the-
this is
Damn.
That's the PS5 version.
PS5.
Dying Light, Biomutant, and Doom Eternal for $15. total.
Biomutant.
Bam.
$5 each.
$5.
Walmart clearance.
Yes. Black Friday Walmart clearance,
Yep.
baby.
I love that
Nice.
one, OJ, with that Biomutant.
Hold on. What was his username again for that question?
Colonoscopy.
Consoloscopy.
Consoloscopy.
I really love that username. Kudos to you.
I got Tiny Tino's Wonderland for $20 so far on the
Ooh,
PS5.
nice.
Hey,
I wanted it to fall in. I wanted to fall in price. Hey, Sonic Frontier is going to be $35, I think.
$29.
And a couple days.
$29.
$29.
God damn it.
$29. Couple days.
I
Yep.
saw that. Yeah.
Yep.
I paid 60 for that game like a week ago.
You did.
Did you guys see it? Like, I picked up a copy for 40 because randomly Wario 64 at 2 a.m. You guys were probably asleep. It was $40 randomly on Amazon just like a few days ago. I forgot. I think last week, just like right after it launched, it was $40 on Amazon, PS5 and Switch, like randomly in the morning. It was hilarious.
Yep. So I'll probably pick up some more stuff as we get closer to Black Friday. I thought about swinging by a Walmart Black Friday just to see what they have because they would put them out with stickers on them and see what's there. But I don't know. I've already been stocked on a lot of games as it is.
PS4 collection. I'm hearing some things because you guys know I cover the physical games. Might want to start getting those PS4 games physical.
Mm.
You know?
Yeah. Last of Us Part 2, by the way, $10 on Amazon Prime shipped if you don't have it physically. $10. Texas says Nate and RGT are boomers. The Spawn Wave Discord has decided.
What? Why? What did we do?
Yeah, you boomers.
John's not even here.
Bunch of boomers.
But
Hey now.
Matthew says your daily, weekly show dedication is appreciated. Thank you, Matthew. MTS says, Nate, how much of PlayStation's weird decisions are actually made by Jim Ryan and not the board?
Very few decisions are actually made by Jim Ryan.
Mm.
Jim Ryan is kind of like, I'll
He's
say
the
the
fall guy.
president of, this country, just as a very loose example, where you have some power, but ultimately the decisions come from the board and everyone else around you. He has to sign off on them, but he's not the one sitting there saying, let's release no good games on the PlayStation Premium service just because I'm a bitter old Brit.
That's why he looked all turned around at the beginning of this generation.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. He looked confused for a while there. Then we have the African Triforce says, I think most people that buy Pokemon games treat it as more of a portable experience. Their standards aren't the same as us home console players. Hey, I was playing Pokemon on the Super Game Boy back in the day. But now I get what you're saying. A Game Freak kind of, at least at this one, feels like they built it thinking portable and then it got blown up on the TV. And yeah, mostly just from the texture standpoint, it doesn't run well either way in terms of frame rate. But textures, you can tell, not supposed to be that close to them.
I mean, but imagine like only doing half your homework and then being like,
Yeah,
oh no, I only got
yeah,
half a rating. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I agree, but I don't know if I feel about they being as only a portable experience because portable games like that usually they don't go open world, like completely open world for like you're not thinking in that way. That's more of a console mindset. If I'm not correct, right? Like it's not like people are, oh, look at all these open world 3DS games or DS games that are out there or whatever. It was always like that's the console thing to do, you know?
Right. Yep.
So I think they were thinking about console players in terms of making the game bigger. Yes, portable experience. I mean, that's where like the quality of life features and other things that Pokemon is known for. Being able to play locally with your friends. I mean, stuff like that. Those are the things that portable experience. But if you're making a open world game, I mean, they're definitely thinking about the console experience.
Right. Yep. Chris, no message here. Thanks, Chris. I do want to get into the game awards as we're going to go through some of the categories and see what we think about some of the nominations. And we'll even try to pick some, see what we can come up with there. Evan, do we have a Discord question while I pull up the game awards?
Oh yeah, we got a couple Pokemon orientated ones.
Ooh.
Are there
I'll take 'em all.
are there certain Pokemon typings you look for in a starter?
Cute.
That's a good question. Well, we're getting these creatures basically to go to battle constantly, right? That's the goal.
Yes,
I need one
dogfighting
that-
simulator. Yes.
I need one that looks like it's gonna basically destroy everything in front of it. So I went with the fire crocodile, because you picture fire crocodile and that's what you get. I mean, there's the water duck.
Quaxley. I'm with Quaxley.
I say water duck.
But he has a
no
pompadour.
fear.
He
does have a pompadour, and I like that, like Josuke from JoJo Part 4, and I like
Yeah, but
I like
even
Josuke.
that, cats eat ducks and lizards.
But here's the thing. I say water duck, and you go, yeah, okay, that's fine. That's not scary. Then you say leaf kitten. That's not
would it be
scary.
scarier?
Fire crocodile, a crocodile with fire coming out.
Would
of
it just be scary if it was like fire duck? What if they were all fire to start with?
You just put fire in front of any of it, and it's probably gonna work.
I don't know, man.
Hey,
Ducks can be kind of
MVG's team Fue Coco, okay?
I'm team don't give a fuck.
You would like this game, MVG. You would like this game. MVG would like this game.
Yeah, for the pure entertainment of
This or
everything going
Pentiment?
wrong.
Nate, which one? This or Pentiment? Which one would I like better?
100% Pentiment.
Okay.
It has
Okay,
murder,
thanks.
mystery.
Dude, you're
murdering other
luring these
people's
little
pets.
creatures against each other constantly.
Bavaria. Don't you want to get a piece of Bavarian cream pie?
I don't know what you just said.
Bavaria? You never heard of Bavaria?
You would like this game, MVG.
Nuremberg. You go to Nuremberg and Florence. Bunch of Philistines over here.
You would like the game, MVG. All right.
All right. The other one is what prevented Game Freak from implementing level scaling in Scarlet and Violet?
I don't know. The fact that Quaxley probably has to go somewhere to be 15 minutes early. The level scaling in the game, dude, probably the fact that it's like their first real open world game. They probably didn't even think about how to implement that. They're like, well, it'll kind of guide you. I mean, if you run into something and it just wipes you out immediately, just turn the other way next time.
I mean, we keep talking about how they're just trying to catch up, and this was a mechanic normally used in open world games to try to prevent people from going places they shouldn't early.
Yeah.
So it's like they're at that stage in our history. We're just looking back through time as they produce their games.
Yeah, I mean, technically you can grind out your levels in the field and then just like brute force your way to a certain part, but yeah, as people are saying, they're kind of trying to catch up. So that's dude, we're just trying to get this game to run well. Now that we're talking about like them implementing level scale and figuring all that out, it's
people think I made up the word Bavaria. This is like
Oh,
when I was on
Bavaria's-
Sean's show, and
Bavaria-
they thought I made up the school district of Foster Gloucester.
Isn't Bavaria a
Okay.
country in Europe?
Yeah, it's named
Yeah.
Bavaria.
But like Bavarian cream.
Yeah,
That's
Exactly,
real.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's
okay.
real
You have another one, Evan?
geography.
I think we're
people.
about to do
Learn
Game
about
Awards.
geography.
So
Okay, yeah, Game Awards. Yep.
which Game Awards category do you think should be removed? Also, which one might you add in its place or just in general?
Content
Well-
creator of the year.
Do you want to? I have the link here. If anyone wants to, you guys want to pull this up, so just say have it in front of you. It's the nominees. But because there are a lot of categories, like there are a lot of them.
I mean, there's like best indie game, best indie debut. I mean, I see
wanna
why they
go-
have it, but
Yeah.
like,
I mean, does it
Maybe
matter
debut?
though? Because they just don't even like show most of them on the show. They just like
Yeah, and the
breeze through
pre-show.
them with title cards, and then it's ads the entire show.
I
So
think
does it really matter?
well, we can go through some of the different games. I think the bottom row, which is like most anticipated game, esports athlete, esports coach, that we can kind of skip that bottom row. Unless
Yeah,
Evan,
I see why
is there
they
any-
have the I see why they have the esports. I mean, it makes
Well, that's
sense
what
for it
makes
to
it-
have it
That's what makes
know?
money.
because it makes
Yeah.
because it
Yeah.
brings in viewers and money. So I mean, I understand why they have that.
best debut indie? That's from a studio that like is their first game. So we'll go through that. Content creator of the year. There's controversy on this one. I know this one. I know Nibelian. Heard of Ludwig. I don't know anyone else. This
know
is the
them.
category that makes me feel old. All right, click. Who wins it?
Wait, hold on. Oh, crap, I clicked off of it.
Well, I feel like
You
you're.
have to publicly
Content
throw
creator of the year.
four of these people under the bus and pick one of them to be better
I-
than the rest of them.
Okay, so I don't know Carl or Nobru that well, but like Ludwig, and Cutie Cinderella actually do like a lot of stuff. It just really, I think it comes down to how involved the Twitch versus YouTube side of things kind of comes in. Because when you have content creators who are bigger on YouTube, even though the community might be more active,
Wait, these
with
people are
creators-
YouTubers?
Some of them.
Ludwig is.
Well, Ludwig,
Ludwig
he
was
is now.
from Twitch and he switched over to YouTube.
Oh, I thought he was
does
just a
lot of
streamer.
Stuff.
I thought he was a streamer.
No, wait, hold up, quick. Say it right. He got a bag to switch over to YouTube.
I
super
thought he was
bag.
I thought he was a
wanna
Twitch
give me a
streamer.
bag? Also,
Yeah,
he
super,
switched
yeah,
over.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
YouTube
okay.
gave him a super bag to switch over.
Yeah, but I mean, it's just one of those things. Like content creation is like what they do, but it's
Okay.
not content that we're gonna consume because you guys are busy making your own. You know what I mean?
I figured it's because I'm old. I watch a lot of YouTube.
I wouldn't say you're old.
Do they cover drama stuff on YouTube and streaming and stuff?
They
Lud
do. but
Lud
it's-
does a little
Okay,
bit.
that makes sense.
Lud
That
does.
makes sense.
Yeah,
That makes
Ludwig
sense.
does like daily events and stuff.
There
I've
you
seen
go.
some
That
of
makes
the
sense.
videos.
Why-
He also runs Smash tournaments.
Yeah, he helped run one of the latest Smash stuff. So.
Yeah. So
Okay.
he started in
There
the
you go.
Smash community and then he exploded well past that. But that's
You
where
know
he
what?
started.
I wish.
all right. I'm sold. I'll vote for Ludwig.
He's pretty cool. I think you'd like his stuff.
Oh man,
His
Twitter's going to
humor.
come for you. You have to vote for Nibelian. Come on.
There is Nibelian as well.
Does Nibelian create content right now?
I
No, he left.
Oh,
tell you, no. You know, I'll vote for. I'll leave Nibelian off of this one. I think that's the correct answer. The sensible answer.
Chat says they just stream. Do they really create anything? I would suggest you try streaming on a daily basis and then let me know if you feel like that's work or not.
streaming's work, bro. I'm telling you, streaming is
Streaming,
work.
yeah, because some people will stream for 9 or 10 hours at a time, and it's like,
That's
my
like-
gosh.
That's like saying like being like a news anchor or a radio host isn't like an actual.
I wish it wasn't actually work
job.
though, so the government would get off my ass, so I don't gotta pay. I really wish it wasn't work, so I don't gotta pay any damn taxes on this ish.
Dude,
Seriously, I wish it wasn't work.
True.
I really wish it was just a hobby. I'd be like, this would be great. Be in the Bahamas, I'd be chilling, be streaming from the man. I wouldn't worry about a damn thing. Damn government.
I wonder if, hey, we'll see if Nibelian wins. He goes and accepts the award.
No, he's not
Oh,
gonna
okay.
do
I'm sorry.
I don't think so.
Who posthumously picks it up for him, or do they just go like, "We'll mail it to him"? Haha.
I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know how that works.
Jeff Keighley will DM it to him.
DM it to him. DM
The
it
fun
to him.
Twitter account.
All right, let's best multiplayer. Call of Duty MW2, Multiverses, Overwatch 2, Splatoon 3, TMNT, Shredder's Revenge.
Should be
I feel-
Shredders.
Shredders.
Pick Splatoon, but any of them would be fine.
Splatoon would be good too. Yeah, you can go with, yeah.
I love Splatoon, but I feel like based off of votes and like the audiences who are going to be voting, I mean, I feel like it's probably like Multiverses or Call of Duty. To be
You don't think
honest.
Overwatch 2 will win? Isn't Overwatch 2 really big?
It
I don't
was
think
really
Overwatch
big.
Oh.
I don't think Overwatch 2, especially like with all the problems that Overwatch 2, even though it is free, like how they just botched all of the like no more loot boxes and all transactions, like,
Oh, okay.
and then the botched launch, like it was just handled so poorly. I don't like, for as much as Splatoon 3 crashed and I complained about that, like Overwatch 2, like it was just
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was a mess. So
Okay. And then, I mean, multiverses did kind of explode this past years. I wouldn't be shocked if that won.
It
was
cooled.
huge.
It
Yeah,
cooled down though a lot.
Right.
It
Dude,
did
I
really
was
fast.
I was at Evo this year, and multiverses was blowing the f up everywhere. It
Mhm.
was like it was the biggest game at Evo, but since then it's kind of really died down a little bit.
Okay.
Because they haven't been able to add as much content, and they just added like I think like a ranked mode. I mean, I like multiverses. I actually really like it. It's good, but they haven't been able to add as much. And some of the characters' choices have been like they had like what's this like Gremlin or something like that, or some type of weird
In the movie.
goblin. Or,
Oh, that's
yeah,
funny.
Gremlin, and then
That's
they added
awesome.
then they added Black Adam,
Oh,
but it's like it's not like the Rock version, I guess.
Isn't he just like a reskin of Superman? They just changed some stuff.
Yeah. It seems that way. From what I mean, he's not. I watched Nakat. You know, Nakat's. He talks about multiverses a lot.
Yeah.
But the character selections are just not necessarily on point right now. Now maybe next year once they, get some more highly requested characters. Like they need Scooby Doo. Like I don't know. I mean that needs to be like the next character. Like,
I think I'm gonna go Call of Duty. I've been enjoying Call of Duty this year. It's been pretty good.
It is pretty good, isn't it?
Let's see. This is best sports and racing. F1 22, FIFA 23, NBA 2K 23, Gran Turismo 7, Ollie World. Wow.
I voted.
Choices.
I voted Ollie World because that game's awesome.
Choices.
I haven't played any of those games.
I don't even really want to give it to Gran Turismo 7 because that had a lot of its own ish. Ah, man, that's tough. I don't know.
Yeah. I got
The
nothing.
best traditional and non-traditional sports and racing game. That's tough. I feel like FIFA 23 will win it because FIFA always wins.
True.
Oh well. Let's see. Best
Those are
family
great choices,
game.
though.
Kirby, Lego Star Wars, Mario Rabbids, Switch Sports, Splatoon 3.
Forgot
Best
what I voted
family game.
for. I think I voted for Kirby. Yeah, I voted for Kirby.
Yeah, that seems like a Kirby category.
Kirby, maybe Switch Sports could take it, but I would say Kirby.
I kind of want to go Kirby
I'd
as
say-
well.
I'd say Kirby because the fact that Kirby was like the highest grossing for Kirby's line, but also a lot of people really liked Mario Rabbids.
Yeah, Mario Rabbids good.
But I don't see how that's a family game. Like usually, like a family game, like if I was playing with my daughter, like it would be like co-op. Like she can actually play Mario plus Rabbids. The new one doesn't have co-op. The last one did, but this one
Yeah,
doesn't.
but-
So she would just watch. Like,
But it's also Mario, so like I feel like sometimes like families will just buy Mario.
Interesting. I don't.
yeah, but at least even like Mario Odyssey, it's like there's like you can play like the Cappy stuff. I don't know. To me, it's like family. You got to have at least some type of co-op feature in there, right?
Yeah.
Like
I
Lego
think-
Star Wars, that's a pretty like people love like
Lego
that
Star
one. You
Wars,
can play
yeah,
co-op
that's
with the
one
fam,
for
like that's really
yeah.
good. Like so I
Yeah,
don't know. I don't
Star
know
Wars.
if single player games are like it's like I guess maybe I don't know. Maybe people's families are different. But
I think I'm gonna go with. I think I'll go with Kirby on just. Yeah, I think
Kirby seems
I'll go.
solid.
I'll go Kirby. I feel like best fighting game. I'm a little confused about this one.
Sifu, it's a fighting game, right?
DNF
Sifu.
Duel, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, King of Fighters 15, Multiverses, and Sifu. Why is
See-
Sifu here?
Dude, I understand that having awards is prestigious and whatever, but if you don't have enough games to fill out a slot, then just
They
don't
ran
have
out.
just don't have the slot.
Do you,
They ran out.
do you think they're
Grab it.
slowly? Do you think they're slowly trying to expand it so that they stop just putting like fighting games no one's ever heard of in it, or like joke ones? Like they're just like if you
Yeah.
punch a person in a game and maybe have some move lists, like at some point we might get like a Streets of Rage.
I mean, probably because I feel like the genre's kind of hard to fill out. With
I
with
caught a
popular
fighting
titles.
Pokemon the other day, yesterday. So could Pokemon be in this then? Because there's a fighting Pokemon.
Well-
It has low kick. That sounds
'cause
like a fighting move.
There isn't a lack of fighting games. There are a ton. It's just the ones people have heard of is the issue
Well,
here.
exactly.
These dudes do not play any fighting games. Let me just tell you that right. These people that they play zero fighting games.
Hmm.
Dude, they
Sifu's
put in
not a
they had-
fighting game.
It's not. I don't know what people really like DNF Duel.
DNF blew up for at least 2 months and everyone was freaking out about it.
Maybe you think that just gets the vote of like, all right, this is that hardcore fighting game.
Multiverse
Probably.
is in there. Multiverse is gonna win.
Okay. Let's see. This is a good one. We have best RPG. Elden Ring, Live Alive, Pokemon Legends, Triangle Strategy, Xenoblade Chronicles 3.
We know it's going to Elden Ring.
Live.
I'm going Xenoblade Chronicles 3.
But you
I'm
I love
surprised that
Live
you're going
Elden Ring.
Xeno, John.
I'm
actually surprised.
Going Xeno.
Team Live Alive. Let's go. I love that game.
Like,
I was thinking about you when I saw Live. I'm like, MVG's gonna vote for that.
are we doing our pick or are we doing what we think is going to win?
You can go ahead and do your pick. What do you want to win? Best role playing game.
Oh, I don't think Live Alive is going to win. I think Xeno's going to win.
No, what do you want to
Yeah,
win?
but your
think
pick
Xeno
is
will?
Live Alive. So
Yeah,
My pick is Live Alive, but
Live
I think
Alive.
Xeno will win.
I'm
You
going
think
Xeno.
You really think Xeno's going to get some recognition?
I think
Yeah.
this is it. This is their
This is-
category right here.
This is the year.
Their time to shine.
Yeah, this is
the
it.
year.
This is it.
Otherwise, it's not gonna win any. I mean, it might win OST, but maybe not.
It could win that. Yeah.
Could.
Yeah. I'm going Xeno on this.
I'm feeling
I think
good
this is
about
it.
it, Click. I'm feeling good about it.
Okay.
All
I have
right.
faith.
I
Best
hope.
action adventure: A Plague Tale, God of War, Horizon, Stray, and Tunic.
I
I went
told you
God of
Tunic
War.
was going to be somewhere on there.
Interesting. Best puzzle solving in that.
I haven't played God of War yet, so I can't say nothing.
Action
Just
adventure.
pick God of War.
I
mean-
can't say nothing. I can.
Have you played God of War 2018? Have you played 2018?
Yeah.
You're right. You love that game. It's that game, but way better.
I love
I'm
Plague
Same
Tale.
game, but way better.
I love Plague
See-
Tale for it, but I still think the narrative is going to be that God of War is going to get a ton of side awards so that another game can take Game of the Year.
Combining,
instead.
like,
combining combat with traversal.
That's literally what Plague Tale is.
I was going to
That-
say that.
I
Plague
kind
Tale.
of think Plague Tale might win this one. I mean, it could be God. It's kind of a toss up for me between God of War and Plague Tale for this one.
But by that definition, it should be Plague Tale, just how the game is designed.
That's tough. I'm
Horizon
between
was
those.
so much fun though.
I feel like
Horizon.
Horizon's gonna just be forgotten about again. It can't catch a break.
Bro, yeah, like Horizon was actually really solid, despite the story connection and the overarching like lore. But like Horizon, I had a lot of fun with that game, and it's just, I'm kind of mad at them for deciding to launch this year. Like, just do it any other year. That is not gonna get overshadowed by literally everything else.
Best action game: Bayonetta 3, Call of Duty MW2, Neon White, Sifu, and then TMNT.
Those are all solid.
Turtles. Shredders, baby. Let's go.
I'm going Bayonetta 3.
I picked Bayo, but they're all good.
Bayo was really fun. I really enjoyed it, especially like those last couple fights. I really liked it.
Going Bayo. Going Bayo.
Mhm.
Shredders.
Best indie game: Cult of the Lamb, Neon White, Sifu, Stray, and Tunic.
I think Neon White gets that.
I'm
Probably Neon
go-
White, yeah.
I'm going Sifu.
I think
I am
picked-
going to disagree with you and say Tunic is going to get it.
Oh,
I
nice.
think I went Tunic. I don't remember what I picked though. I think I either picked Tunic or I picked Neon. I don't. I don't remember which one I picked. I think I picked. I'll say Tunic just for right now.
Okay, I'm gonna go with Sifu. I like Sifu. Best ongoing game: Apex Legends, Destiny 2, Final Fantasy 14, Fortnite, Genshin Impact. Ooh, this might actually be a close one. I'm looking at two right now that I think might be like.
How many of these
When-
games have been in this category for like at least 3 years?
Yeah,
Final Fantasy
didn't
14 is
they say-
there every year.
Didn't
When
they
did
say
14
Final
get the
Fantasy
huge
14?
expansion? Was that this year or last year?
I'm right now. I'm between Final Fantasy 14 and Genshin Impact. Those are the two I think that could get this.
Didn't they say Genshin Impact last year with a J?
Whoever they had on the
Didn't
stage,
know.
I think, said it. Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
the basketball chick, the
Yeah.
professional basketball player.
Oh,
She
no.
said Genshin Impact or something like
Oh
that.
man. Every time something happens with Genshin Impact, Twitter explodes. Like especially on like the Japanese side, it's just ridiculous amounts of talk about
Wait,
Genshin Impact.
Didn't Final Fantasy have an update come out this year?
Yeah. I mean, Final Fantasy 14 is incredibly popular. I think it's what the most popular MMO right now.
It's one of them,
I
yeah.
think.
It's top.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say Final Fantasy or Genshin.
Okay.
Honestly.
I think I'm gonna go with Genshin Impact, just trying to decide between them because I feel like that has got a lot of support. If I'm not mistaken, Evan, you could probably correct me if I'm wrong there.
I mean, they just did an event that was basically Pokemon themed that blew up a bit and showed me a Pokemon game I'd actually want to play that's never coming out. So that's
Wow. Okay. Let's do that one. Let's see. We'll do best performance: there is Ashley Birch from Horizon, Charlotte McBurney, Plague Tale, Christopher Judge, God of War, Man Engaged, that's Immortality, and then Sunny Soljic, that's God of War.
Oh.
Get in the boat, boy.
Gotta vote for boy.
I go with Plague Tale. I think her performance as Amicia was absolutely spectacular.
Have you beaten it yet?
I'm at the last chapter.
You son of a bitch.
I don't want it to end.
It's going to, and you're going to feel the pain. Just go. Just do it.
MVG just started it.
I'm on chapter 5. Great game.
It's
How
like
long is it?
20 something hours. I'd have to look it up.
Is it longer than the first one? Wasn't the first one only like
It's
9 or
longer than the
10?
first one, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
You need to play the first one though.
Yeah.
You have to watch everyone she knows just suffer. Like, come on.
Damn.
Best score and music. By the way, Sonic Frontier is not in here. No clue what's happening.
What?
A Plague Tale.
Undefeatable isn't nominated?
A Plague Tale, Elden Ring, God of War, Metal Hellsinger, Xenoblade Chronicles 3. I'm going Xenoblade Chronicles 3.
Metal Hellsinger 3. Metal Hellsinger, sorry, not
The third. Oh man,
Metal Hellsinger.
VG coming in from the future.
He leaked it 10 years early.
I want Metal Hellsinger to win, but it's not.
Okay.
Xenoblade's going to win.
That's the rhythm game, right?
Yeah, it's awesome.
With all major bands, beautifully layered music. Oh, it's so
It's
good.
got Serge Tankian from System of a Down in there.
Yeah, it sounds dope.
Had
It's
Soilwork
so good.
stuff on there. It was good.
Yep.
Okay.
Good game.
I think it's Xeno.
Probably.
It's probably Xeno.
Well, hopefully, because they didn't even get credited for music when Xeno 2 came out.
Yeah.
Xeno 2 wasn't even nominated.
Best art direction. We have Elden Ring, God of War, Horizon, Scorn, and Stray.
Boy.
I am going to go in a different direction. I think Stray wins this.
Nope. Elden Ring has got it.
Art direction for Elden Ring?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, some of those Dark Souls 3 textures really paid off there.
God of War sweet.
I think for best, Stray just had such an interesting look to it. Scorn was just gross, but I guess that could win it too. But Stray had a very, very, very interesting world that they built. Best narrative. That's for outstanding storytelling. Plague Tale, Elden Ring, God of War, Why is Elden Ring in this?
You had to find the story.
Someone needs to tell me what happened in Elden Ring right now. I need to know the story.
Gene Park had it all on Twitter.
There's like, I'm pretty sure there's a Wikipedia for it.
You walk out of the cave, you're the tarnished, and you have to find the Elden Ring. That's the story.
First narrative, you got to find it though. There's a lot of lore in there. You got
God of War, Horizon, Immortality.
Oh, how I wish Sean was here to talk about the Tears of the Kingdom door and how I have to go online to learn about its lore.
Fuck you guys.
Okay, outstanding storytelling and narrative development in a game. Again, Plague Tale, Elden Ring, God of War, Horizon, Immortality.
Boy.
I did not play Immortality.
Immortality was the game.
I
Edge
watched
gave
someone
10 out of 10, right?
I watched someone play it. It's a very specific kind of storytelling. It's not. I don't know if that's gonna get too far.
I don't think this Horizon story is like they explained it well, but it's interesting,
good.
I guess. But it's not like
had so much build up just to leave you like disappointed on a cliffhanger. You know what I mean? Like they could have made it much more satisfying. Like that's my thing about Horizon. It was so much fun.
Yeah.
You're like, dang, this final fight is gonna be like it, man. And then
it is not.
you're waiting for like another phase, and it just never hits it. And it's like the final phase is the whole next game, and you're like, fuck.
Mm-hmm. I'm kind of between God of War or Plague Tale.
That's solid. Yeah.
God of War is a very good narrative-driven game, so that's why I'm like probably God of War. But I think Plague Tale has a chance to actually surprise at the Game Awards this year.
There's a lot of character arcs in Plague Tale. A lot of redemption arcs, a lot of crazy stuff happening.
It won some. It won. What did it win? Indie when the first one came out. Like a lot of people.
I think so.
It got some recognition, right? So, I would like to think that the people are going to be excited to vote for this one.
Like I said, the narrative for this is most likely God of War winning a ton of not Game of the Year awards, and then something else winning the Game of the Year award.
Yeah, but you say that, but it also could be Elden Ring too. I feel like God of War and Elden Ring, it's going to be like God of War 2018 and Red Dead Redemption 2.
But this this happened years ago with that, where it was literally like
Red Dead was winning everything, and then God of War won the final.
It's like, wow,
overall.
this game's amazing in all these categories, and this other game won Game of the Year. Cool.
Best game direction. It's Elden Ring, God of War, Horizon, Immortality, Stray. I think this is Elden Ring. It's for outstanding creative vision and innovation in game direction and design.
Boy.
I can see Elden Ring, like the fact that you're just kind of given the world to explore, like that, is like, I feel like that's a little bit more innovative versus what we have considered the more standard narrative of like God of War, where it's go through puzzle or sequence A, cutscene, another sequence, cutscene. You know what I mean? Like I feel like Elden Ring, whether people love that gameplay style or not, like that, like you discover as much or as little of the narrative or the lore, whatever you want to specify it as you want. And everybody's experience is going to be like completely different.
It's very different.
Like Breath of the Wild. Breath of the Wild.
Elden Ring's
going to
win it though. No, Click's right. Elden Ring's going to win that category.
I think Elden Ring takes it. Yeah. Game of the Year: Plague Tale, Elden Ring, God of War, Horizon, Stray for some reason, and then Xenoblade Chronicles 3.
It's that. That's why.
Stray is in there. That seemed to surprise a lot of people first.
Stray has no business.
That
4-hour cat game has no business being in there.
It wasn't 4 hours.
It's a 4-hour cat game.
It wasn't 4 hours.
It's a 4.5-hour cat game that was in there because there's cats. Like, let's just keep it a buck. Let's just keep it real. Let's just keep it real.
It was good. Did you play it?
Of course.
Yeah, I mean,
I played
Plague
it for
Tale
15
2,
minutes and I
shed
decided
actual
I'd rather go
tears.
just buy a real cat. I'll just go buy a real cat and I'll just play with that cat instead.
I think it would be better under like innovation, like in innovative design. But yeah, game of the year. No, I love it.
If it was a dog, it wouldn't even be nominated. If it was what are stray dogs called? Whatever they're called.
Right.
What would you replace Stray with?
Something outside of that. I'd replace it with something else. You can put Kirby in there. You can put Triangle Strategy in there. You can put a lot of other games that were rated even better than Stray, that have way more content, way more value, rated some of the best in their industry. Stray's not even the best indie game this year. Neon White was better. So, I mean, I don't know. I'd put a lot of different stuff in front of it. But that's just me. Everybody has their opinion, of course.
No, I would too.
I don't know.
Neon White is literally rated a 90. It's a Metacritic must play.
How many reviews?
It's an indie game, and it's nominated for one thing. Stray's nominated for 6 separate categories, and Neon White's literally like multiple points higher than it. Super good game. I mean, there's like Triangle Strategy is like 100 hours if you really want to get content in there. It has incredible narrative. It has one of the most innovative features with the encampment, to where like you can level up, talk to your characters, whatever you want before and after battles, in between missions. If these people actually played the games, which they don't, they only play certain games, then they would know how much better some of these games are. But they're limited because they don't play everything. So they're games like Triangle Strategy or Kirby or games like Neon White, they're gonna get the short end of the stick based on where it's at. Whereas games like Stray, Sifu, stuff like that's gonna get a little bit more love, which is okay. I mean, I get it.
You say that, but there's a lot of cat haters in the world.
Could have dropped Shredder's Revenge right there. There. Because it would have been an indie title, most likely.
There's a lot of cat haters out there, but there's also a lot of cat lovers, which is why Stray gets 6 nominations. 6 nominations for Stray.
Hey man, I don't know. It's the first game you get to play as a cat. You get to tear shit up.
It actually was. It is a good game. It actually is a good game. I like that. I like the world they built. It was so interesting. So.
Not sure if it's worth more nominations than like Live Alive, Triangle Strategy, Kirby, and Xenoblade all combined. I'm just not sure if it's worth, and literally like tied them or out, like got more nominations than all those games combined. I'm not sure if it's that good, but
like when we think about it, I just feel like when it comes down to it, like even though we have categories and we try to categorize all these games, for the most part, like when it comes down to narrative or direction or story, like it's kind of apples to oranges. And it really just comes down to people voting and their they're flat out like they're just like their opinion because of the fact that if it has a cat, I'm not gonna play it because it has a cat. Or oh, it's like a turn-based game, I'm not gonna play it because I didn't like the one turn-based game I played years ago. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like,
I know exactly what you're saying. Exactly.
it's just apples to oranges, and that's what's crazy. Like, I think it would be freaking hilarious if none of these games got Game of the Year and then Stray got it, just so like they did it as an upset. Like, I that would just be the funniest shit.
I would love that if that happened. If they just
That happened last
messed
year.
everything up.
What won last year?
It takes two. That kind of happened last year.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, last year was boring.
But last year didn't have games as high as rated as Elden Ring.
What were
and
the
God
other
of War.
games?
Metroid Dread, Deathloop. What else?
Oh, I was just tired of Deathloop, bro.
I just remember Metroid Dread and Deathloop were up there.
Yeah, Metroid Dread, Deathloop. It takes two. Oh God, I am drawing a blank.
So
see, people were like, no matter what year Horizon came out, it would have been overshadowed. It should have come out last year.
Psychonauts,
supposed
Psychonauts.
to.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Psychonauts. That's another one. Forza was nominated for Game of the Year last year.
Nah, it wasn't.
No.
It's a recent
highest
game.
rated game of the year and didn't get Game of the Year nomination.
Vroom vroom.
So what
Whoa,
takes
whoa.
what takes it this year? Again, Plague Tale, Elden Ring, God of War, Horizon, Stray, Xenoblade Chronicles 3.
Elden Ring.
Elden Ring.
I think it's gonna be Elden Ring.
God of War is going to win pretty much all the other
that's
all
the
the other
narrative.
ones, and Elden Ring's got Game of the Year.
Yep.
I am going with the two-time God of War Ragnarok taking Game of the Year over Elden Ring. It's happening.
I when I play the game, I feel like I'm gonna say that, John, but I'm not getting my hopes up, so I'm saying Elden Ring.
Oh, I absolutely like God of War more than Elden Ring. I definitely like it more, but
Here's
I just
why.
think Elden Ring's gonna win it.
I'm going to read the description. Recognizing a game that delivers the absolute best experience across all creative and technical fields.
Yeah.
Elden Ring, not technical perfection. Had frame rate issues, judders, stutters, the whole deal. God of War is solid. It's a great narrative-driven experience. The action's good. The combat's good.
It's a great PS4 game.
The
You're
better
right. John.
story. Hey, Elden Ring was pretty good on the PS4 too.
Elden Ring was maybe better than the PS4.
It was. You want to run the PS4 version? I'm going with God of War Ragnarok. I think it's a toss-up. You could pick either one, and I think it's like just coin flip almost. God of War Ragnarok is really, really good.
They're both incredible. I mean, obviously, you guys know my pick is, but all the games this year are actually, I like I said, remove one or two, but they're all it's solid picks this year.
FBT he's a big Elden Ring backer. I know it. I know he's 100 some odd hours in that game. I know. MVG
I loved. For me, Elden Ring was the best game I played this year, without a doubt. I think. I mean, look, it's a coin toss, right? I mean, it could go either way. God of War could easily take it, and if it does, I think it would probably deserve it. But for me, Elden Ring was far and away the best game I played this year, and I think it brought something really special to gaming. It really opened up that FromSoft Souls formula where people only hardcore players wanted to play those games because you just get destroyed, and it really opened it up to a wider audience, and they did it successfully. Right. I think the game was incredible. The sense of exploration. Look, I haven't played a game like Elden Ring since Breath of the Wild, where you just kind of pushed out into the world and you have no idea what to do. And the exploration aspect of Elden Ring, the discovery aspect of it, it was just an amazing experience from start to finish. I think it should win. It's my game of the year, but God of War could easily take it.
Okay. What do you got, Nate?
I have Elden Ring. Like MVG was saying, Elden Ring is the best game I've played this year.
Have you played God of War?
I have not.
There's still a chance. Okay, there's still a chance. Go on.
Elden Ring revolutionized the genre type that it's in. And as MVG was mentioning, it really expanded the appeal of that genre type. The game was just reported at over 17.5 million copies sold, which is no small feat for that genre type.
Close to Pokemon numbers.
Better than Sword and Shield. No.
What? Sword and Shield's 25 million.
Yeah, that's because that game went nuts at the end. But 17 million is, it's a huge number. And you had developers at Ubisoft actually angry about the user interface of Elden Ring, saying, how come people aren't complaining about this? It's so minimal. where they're probably going to take note of that and maybe look at it for future Assassin's Creed games. Elden Ring is going to redefine how games are approached for that genre, and a lot of those mechanics are going to be borrowed. So
That is a good point.
Game of the year.
The thing I will give Elden Ring is they did that thing with the HUD where it slowly faded away and you even realize it was gone while you were playing it. It was pretty good for that.
Mm-hmm.
So you could have it set there. But yeah, the minimalistic approach for it was great. But I don't know. God of War has been an experience, is what I'll say. I think you need to play it, Nate, before the Game Awards happen.
He doesn't like God of War. He didn't play 2018.
You've got 19 days.
Yeah, you need to play it, Nate. I feel like you're gonna play it. It's gonna hook you, and you're just gonna run through it because it is like that.
After I finish Pentiment, the next game.
Oh my
Callisto
gosh!
Protocol. That's the next game I'm playing. Callisto
yeah,
Protocol.
Man. I'm all over that. I'm all over that.
Yeah,
it's gonna be good.
Day one.
Mm-hmm.
Really? Really? You're Pentiment right now. Yeah. God of War later.
After Callisto Protocol, Dead Space, Resident Evil 4 Remake.
You gotta beat Plague Tale. Stop being a little bitch.
Pentiment's 15 hours. You're probably gonna be done that like in a couple of days.
He's not playing it.
I want to enjoy my time with it. Play like an hour a day. That's 2 weeks.
Oh gosh. Click's got my back. She'll play God of War soon, and then she can let me know what she thinks.
Oh hell yeah! I just finished Bayo this morning.
Okay. So God of War's up. All right, good. MVG will play God of War soon too.
Yeah, I will. I'll definitely play it.
Good.
On the list.
Then Evan will play it.
Yeah.
Well, hey, if it goes to, did you play God of War on the PC?
No.
Oh, okay, interesting. All right. Have you thought about it? Just like seen it?
Not really.
How much later did that come out on PC?
A lot later.
Years later.
Yeah.
Years. It'll probably go on sale eventually for like $15 or something, and then maybe Evan impulse buys it and just like, let's see what happens.
Highly doubt it.
Oh, break out the PS2 controller, man. Get that dongle still. The PS2.
I got the 8-bit dough plugged in. It's basically the same thing. Thing.
Let's go.
You play Miles Morales yet, Evan?
No. All I can remember is all the streams I watched where looking away for 2 minutes and looking back was just another scene of him charging up a generator. And I was like, I don't want to play this game. It's not happening.
I remember when it came out and you asked about that. And they're like, no, it's not like that at all.
And then, yeah, it's exactly like that. It's the whole goddamn game.
Do we have
generators?
Do we have some Discord questions over there, Evan?
Still got a bunch left. Yep.
Okay, we'll go through them.
Where will all of you go if Twitter is gone?
YouTube.
Outside.
To the bar.
It's bright outside. I don't know. Hold on.
Touch grass.
Yeah.
There's always YouTube.
I'm already on Insta and Twitter or TikTok.
YouTube Shorts.
YouTube Shorts. There we go. Let's go.
YouTube's looking like the greatest thing ever created.
Isn't
at
it?
This point.
I mean, I think it was it. Who said that? It was that YouTube is the one S tier social media platform.
Marquise Brownlee.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that. Looking around right now, it's like all this stuff. Like Twitch is on fire one day. Twitter's about to explode.
How would YouTube be considered S tier? I feel like it's still incredibly convoluted to find what you need to find. Just
here's the reason why YouTube's S tier.
Twitter.
YouTube's S tier because out of all these sites, in terms of it, you can make money on YouTube at such a low amount of subscribers. I went full time on YouTube.
It now? Is it
even back when I first,
or something?
It's 1,000 to just 1,000 and a certain amount of views. But even then, like how they do their ads, how everything is, like I think I was at like 10,000 or so subscribers, and I was making enough just to come even on all my bills and everything. Like if you're consistent, it's fair somewhat. I mean, yeah, there's problems, but if you compare that to Instagram, you compare that to TikTok, YouTube blows it out of the water with revenue potential and just such a like findability, like what you get out of it when you put into it, you know? Like Twitter, you don't get anything. You don't get anything from Twitter. You can be super popular and not get a damn thing from Twitter. Same thing goes for TikTok and Instagram, you know?
I think the potential for support is there on YouTube, but I feel like I've seen a lot of people grind for years, be incredibly consistent and actually have good content, and they just don't end up getting the growth or the support that they need. You know what I mean? So
no, I absolutely agree.
It's also there is like a factor of luck with it a little bit, but I don't know. I think as far as like with Twitter, it's like you're interacting with people. Like there are people I've met through Twitter, and like I've been friends with for years now that I never would have ever probably crossed paths with if it wasn't for Twitter. I think it's going to be very weird to like see what kind of replacement would come along to cross the communities together.
I think Twitter is important in the social media aspect of things, obviously.
For sure.
That's. I don't know what would come by and replace it. That is a serious operation for as simple as it looked when you turn the website on. There's a lot of moving parts, but this is from Pyro. Says our third-party theme key sites scams.
It depends. You do have to be heavily worried about it because if a key is stolen, that can be reported stolen. So if you use it on your account, your entire account can get banned.
I wouldn't trust any of those third-party key sites, honestly.
Okay. Definitely says, where's RGT85? He's my favorite. He does awesome cameos. He's like shadowboxing Game Freak fans right now. Lord says, do you guys recommend Sekiro? Also save up for PC people. Yeah, Sekiro is awesome. That was a very good game.
It was really fun.
Hated
that
it.
won Game of the Year. Didn't it?
It did win Game of the Year 2019.
I didn't like it. I hated
Everyone, I love
Sekiro.
it. Hated it.
It's a good
You
game.
hated it?
I couldn't get into it. Look, Bloodborne and Elden Ring are the only Souls games I like. Even Demon Souls is okay, but it's still.
Yeah, there's some leeway in Elden Ring, but there were some fun, weird little things in Sekiro. Like if you go to the underworld before killing the ape, you don't have to deal with fighting 2 apes at the gate into the underworld. Like there's all these weird little things about it that were kind of fun. Like
I hate that ape.
I think
was
Sekiro is like the one of the Souls games that I'm the most drawn to because I can't stand Souls combat otherwise, and I know people hate me for that, but Sekiro is the one where it's like I played it and I'm like,
It's a rhythm game.
this is fun. It's so
You
much
that's
faster
actually
and fluid.
not that inaccurate that what you say, John. It is kind of a rhythm game.
Sekiro has responsive controls. Like it's responsive. It's I mean, like me, I'm the same way. I'm not huge on Souls just because I just feel like the controls just aren't quite there for me. But I did enjoy Sekiro a little bit, but I didn't like love it. But yeah, I would recommend it though. Like I would recommend the game. And if you're looking for something like that, try out the game that I like, the Neo series. Like
Neo's very good.
Like Souls, and it's like Sekiro. It's kind of like combined. It's a bit of both, and it's fast and it's super responsive. And there's a collection on the PlayStation 5. You get both games, and it's super good. Neo would be something that I would check out.
Sean says MVG doesn't like Pokemon because they moved on to GameCube level trees, and he misses the N64 trees.
That's exactly right.
I'm telling you, MVG, get this game, dude. I for a technical aspect, I think you would be curious about it, but the game itself, the build, I think you'd like it.
Are you
on
like
the payroll?
On the board?
Yeah. Are you on the payroll over there? I am picking up.
No, I want MVG to overclock and test. That's what I'm trying to get him, because I know once he gets it and he sees it, he's gonna be like, clock this thing and see what happens. Brent says, just got my Pocket and want to replay. Oh, my Game Boy Pocket. I want to replay the Dragon Quest games with the cores available. That Analog Pocket? Should I play console or handheld, including the ones on Super Nintendo? Thanks. Oh, because you do have all the cores available. That's true.
I haven't looked at the Pocket in a while. I know they've added all those new cores. I haven't checked any of that stuff out. I need to check it out.
Should I play the console or handheld?
I mean, I like playing Game Boy and Game Boy Color on the Pocket. It's my favorite. Game Boy Advance is a little weird on the Pocket for me.
Let me go over to Evan. You still had some Discord questions left.
Yeah.
We have like 1 or 2 super chats here to finish up with.
We try to bulk through these. For YouTube is your main source of income ad revenue?
No.
Some, not main, but some, and then sponsorships, stuff like that. It all kind of comes together at the end, and you just add it all up. But it's part of it. For MVG's the professional out here. He's the game developer. He's shipping stuff.
It's always been a side hustle for me.
Yeah.
What was everyone's first console experience?
Console experience? Oh gosh,
the Atari.
I guess that I didn't own, or that wasn't mine primarily, would have been Atari, and just kind of observing. And I guess the one that I actually played was the original Nintendo with Mario.
I played Atari.
I didn't play it. I think my mom
specifically was the first one.
They played Breakout a lot, and I just remember observing it, and it's like that very small flash memory of it. I can't remember too much of it, but definitely the original Nintendo with Mario. That's the first one I was like, yeah, I'm gonna play this, and then I ended up putting it in my room.
I remember playing Bugs Bunny's Crazy Castle back in the day, and I was like, yo, it's Bugs Bunny.
And the TV I had a knob on it that you would move, and it would go from color to black and white.
Did you have to hook up the two little prong things to the antenna thing on the back?
I did have that.
The RF modulator.
You just screw it in with a screwdriver.
So it would pick up.
Sir.
Oh, dude, that was great.
I would love to get a really old CRT and hook up the Nintendo just to get that feeling again, but finding one is tough. Like an old.
And you try to relive those days, it doesn't work, John. Trust me, I tried it. Too big.
Go ahead, Evan.
I mean, you get it for a little bit, and then it quickly fades as you realize that you're an adult and your life sucks. It's nowhere near as cool as it was back then.
Because we didn't cover it on Newswave, what's everyone's thoughts on Yuji Naka's insider trading investigation?
I think it's one of the most something I was not expecting to read one morning or one day. I have no idea what the details of the case are. They just said they arrested him because he invested, and it was kind of clear that, or at least in their mind.
That wasn't satire?
No, he actually got him and like 2 other people got arrested for insider trading around an announcement for a studio or game or something.
No, a Dragon Quest. Dragon Quest like mobile game or something.
Yeah. I don't know. It's
what happens when you make Balan Wonderworld.
Gosh.
That's what happens when you need some money.
The universe and
nobody's
karma.
gonna hire you.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of the funniest headlines I've read all year.
I was not expecting any of that.
Yo, Japan's serious about that stuff, man. He's in big trouble.
Probably,
He is in trouble.
You have anything else, Evan?
Yep. One more and the shout out one. Can the next bet be about Jordan playing Sonic Forces or MVG playing Sword and Shield?
Look, they're not
You're
good
making
bets.
play Sword and Shield, man. Make him play Scarlet and Violet. please throw him that.
And I just retired from the Army after 20 years, been watching since the couch era. Just want to say that Newswave was always my morning show before I would go to work, except when I was in Korea because of the time difference. All the other Spawncast members were introduced to me through this channel, and I love watching everybody's content and take on games and events. Keep up the great content, and I want to give shout out to Evan for being the glue in the background, making sure everything runs smoothly.
Well,
as long as Comcast doesn't screw me. He goes by Nerd, I believe, in the
Nerd.
Discord.
Shout out to Nerd. Thank you for your service.
Thank you for your
Shout
service,
out.
Nerd.
Shout out to Nerd.
Double check that.
And okay, cool. Shout out to Nerd. We'll do some a few other super chats we have here as we do some outros. Let me go over to MVG. Where can everyone find you, sir?
You can find me on Twitter at Modern Vintage G and on YouTube at Modern Vintage Gamer. I have a video out on Monday as always, and I'm sure Nate and I will have an episode out next week.
Oh,
thanks for having me on.
What's happening next week?
Oh, actually, no. Next week's Thanksgiving. We may have something out next week. I forgot. And happy Thanksgiving to everyone in the US for next week. Happy holidays.
South Coast says this is a total shame to super chat. Tony Hawk 1 and 2 online servers have been down for weeks. Yes, people still played online. I haven't played online in that in a while. I didn't realize it was down. That's weird.
Maybe they were hoping. It's like no one.
Dang.
Hey man, it costs money to keep servers going.
I will look into that. Conquer says we need a new Turok video game. Banana says, why are checkmarks so worried about Twitter? It's always been crud and it has survived. Because it looked like people were actually leaving Twitter, so it was like, I guess Twitter's going away. Nope, still there. Shinru says, I met my boyfriend through Twitter. Thanks, Elon.
Aw.
Shout out, Shinru.
Men Gaming says, been a while since we had some hot weenas. Nate, comments? Well, you can also let everyone know where they can find you.
Weena's in the chat, everyone.
I actually went to New York System a couple of weeks ago in Oneyville, and I got myself a few hot wieners with everything and a coffee milk. It was a very nice afternoon snack. Very delicious. Well worth the money. Guy Fieri goes there all the time whenever he's in Rhode Island.
Did you say Guy Fieri?
The hell's his name? Isn't it Fieri or is it Fieri?
I don't know.
No one knows. We all just kind of glaze over his last name like really quick when it comes up.
Just call him Guy Fury.
Yes, I got you.
Yeah.
Louis says, still working.
Paper Town, that guy.
Lewis says, still working on God of War Ragnarok, but does it ever get as gory as the old ones? I know 2018 didn't. Growing up, God of War and MK were some of my favorite gory games. There are some pretty violent executions, I will say, in that game with Kratos. So he is definitely more violent than the first one, or the 2018 God of War. Let's see. OJ, where can everyone find you?
Yeah, find me right here on YouTube. I stream all the time. Also do RPG and Nintendo content. Had a video on Pokemon Scarlet and Violet and my impressions after a number of hours. Just did that. And I'll have some more, a video on Atlas talking about what's up with Persona and some stuff that maybe you missed with that because it kind of got glossed over. So we'll talk about that. Yeah, thank you guys for subscribing. Appreciate it. Spawncast pre-show. I also run that. Getting really close to 100,000. I think we're about 2K away from that. So if you guys want to subscribe, that'd be great. So I can get the stupid check mark. And yeah, that's
Getting
it.
close.
Thank you for having me on.
Getting close. Go check out OJ Players.
Yeah, very close.
Get in there.
Big jump recently. So shout out to all the Spawncast peeps that are coming over, subscribing. A lot of you guys come over like on my daily streams and stuff. So I appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Grubby asks, I want to ask John, why does he get most third-party multi-plat releases on PS5 instead of Xbox Series X? It actually depends. On the shooters I usually get on Xbox, like Call of Duty I have on Xbox. But for the PlayStation, I typically look to see if they're using the adaptive triggers and the DualSense controller with the advanced haptic feedback, because I'm kind of disappointed that Microsoft didn't make a push more so for their controller. They might still do it, but I was kind of hoping they would have spent more time adding stuff or changing things up with it. And the DualSense controller right now is my favorite controller to use. That's mostly why.
Also, maybe the disc too, right? And I know Xbox is kind of switching things over, but you know that having that game actually on there,
that does
compared
help.
to having to download the Series X version. You know?
Yeah, I think you're right, they're getting better with it, but for a while there, it was, as MVG showed, you were just pulling the series version from basically servers to like confirm that you owned it and all these different things.
Mm-hmm.
So it was.
But yeah, I think like Tiny Tina's is Xbox Series. It's like separated. I saw it at Walmart the other day.
Yeah, so I got that one on the PS5. But the adaptive triggers are interesting, and see how they continue to use them. Go for it, and the advanced haptic feedback is nice. So I would like Microsoft to attempt that. Maybe in an Xbox Elite 3 controller, they'll try that. I don't know. First Gen says, just spent 10 minutes trying to get Scarlet past the Game Freak logo. Actually, Nintendo's worst performing release. Fun game, though. Wish I could actually play it. Hey, hope that patch incoming, hopefully.
That sucks,
The
man.
patch is incoming. Damas says, if you headed Game Freak, the Pokemon Company, etc., how would you have a steady stream of revenue for 2 or 3 years of no mainline Pokemon games that can drive the latest anime, movies, merch, cards, etc.? Because they have multiple lines now, it seems like they're going to have a Legends game, a remake, and then the mainline game is kind of how they're setting it up. So you could probably stretch the mainline development to 4 years, I would assume, with that lineup.
Mm-hmm.
Let's be real. No one really expected a lot out of Legends Arceus, but it surprised people. And then I don't know if anyone really expects remasters or remakes to be the mainline series, especially since they outsourced the one Ilka. So outsource that, have your B team work on the Legends series to experiment with things, and then have your A team spend 4 years instead of 2.5 to 3 years working on the mainline game.
It's so funny. I think like Arceus was supposed to be like the test the water kind of service, and they ended up just making themselves have really big shoes to fill. Because I feel like it was such an overall better experience for people. So I think it's interesting. But like, I know you guys already passed the Pokemon talk, but I was just saying earlier on my stream today, I was like, literally Arceus came out this year.
Yep.
Like we've had two of these games in the same year. Like
but beyond that, quick,
it felt so rushed.
Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl came out November. So technically in 12 months we've had 3 Pokemon games released.
Yeah, but it's like, do people really count those? Do people really count like a remade Sprite kind of thing?
Yeah, see, we can't do HD2D. I told you, we can't do HD2D.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's still a release that they put. I mean, it did 15 million sold or something like that. But it's still a Pokemon game that they can market and put out there. But
I think Game Freak kind of sees it as like separate, because like Arceus is like it doesn't move things forward, you know. It's a parallel type of like different style in the 4th generation of Pokemon. You know, so with some new Pokemon, like new evolutions and stuff, some new things, but it's not the next gen. They don't see it as that.
I think it's more like the gameplay aspect, you know, like no random battles and being able to run and have your Pokemon out and catch and do things for you, the mounts and stuff. I don't know, man.
Yeah. There's some elements. I mean, Arceus does some. I mean, Pokemon Sword and Shield did some of that, not all of it, but Arceus definitely brought some other really cool things to the table.
Do you remember? You guys remember when people were complaining about the frames dropping in Sword and Shield, like when you turn online on, and like how that's not. Even,
now look at us.
Yeah.
look how far we've come. Look at this. Let's Miss Click, where can everyone find you?
Yeah, thanks for having me. You can find me here on YouTube as Miss Click Gaming. I haven't posted in a little bit. I've just been too busy with literally everything going wrong in my life. But I'm coming back to Twitch. This next week will be a little weird because I have family coming into town that I haven't seen in probably close to half a year at this point. But we are going to be starting God of War. But other than that, you can catch all the tea, all the drama, and all the truth about. People were asking about freaking the controversy. That's not
the
even
truth with capital letters.
Yeah, I mean, it's just that.
What's going on, Click?
Nothing. The freaking stuff that we talked about on Sean's show like last week.
Oh, the Batman stuff.
Yeah, like bro, whatever. And people are like calling me liar and shit. Whatever. I don't have time for it. I don't care. I just want to eat turkey. And happy Thanksgiving to everybody. But you can find me over on Twitch or on Twitter or Instagram as at MissClick. So yeah.
Derek says the launch state of Scarlet Violet is unacceptable. Hardware isn't to blame. Sword, Shield, and Legends Arceus were at least functional, stable games. And then Banana with 4 different messages, a bunch of hot dogs just saying Weena's over and over and over again. Shout out to Banana. Shout out. I believe that is everything there. Evan, did you have anything? Oh, and then Mighty says Game Freak didn't do the remake though. Ilka maybe. That's correct. Ilka did the remake of Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. So technically we had 2 different teams from Game Freak, one doing Arceus and then the other one doing Scarlet and Violet. So they could have, I think they could space it out. Again, a management thing. Maybe they figure it out to schedule things a bit better and give more time. But Evan, where can everyone find you?
For now, I guess you can find me over on Twitter, Kimrick's Project, or Instagram at that same thing, or TikTok at that same thing. If I'm going live on Twitch, usually Monday, Wednesday, Friday, midday, so no one's really around, but that's always fine. You can check me out there as well.
Okay. Thanks everyone for tuning in. I had a lot of fun with the Game Awards stuff and the Pokemon stuff, but we'll be back next Saturday night after, of course, Thanksgiving and all of that. We'll see you guys then.
Bye.
Fuck Pentiment. Fuck Pentiment.